Let's go on. Okay, so we have to go to the right here. Oh, kitty! Animal puns, alright. Oh. That's a little scary. Maximum security, alright. Wow, it's pitch black in here! I can't see a thing! But didn't you say that the Yatagarasu takes flight even in the dead of night or something? Even in the depths of night, when no other bird dares to take flight. One alone soars to shine the light of righteousness on the world's blight. And that one is me, for I am the great Yatagarasu. Whoa, you are one powerful performer. Thanks, but that doesn't help see me in the dark. Me see in the dark. I'm a human, not a three-legged raven. Ooh. It's the doggo. That voice, I knew it. It has been far too long. You remember me? I could hardly forget now, could I? After all, you are the one who put me away. Mr. Edgeworth, are you talking to the dog? Or is there someone else in there? Oh, but I am forgetting myself. Forgive me, I do not often receive visitors. One moment, I will turn on the lights. Oh! That's interesting. Oh, the numbers on his chest. Oh my gosh, boss. You're a heavily footed lot. And am I right in thinking there are 3 of you in all? Very well. Perhaps we should start by introducing ourselves. I am Bodhidharma Karnas. As you may have gathered, Mr. Edgeworth and I are old acquaintances. Karnas was a notorious assassin. Some knew him as the Blind Butcher. His only weapons were a vicious hunting hound and a fearsomely sharp knife. His appearance was always announced by the sound of bells, the last sound his victims would ever hear. Interesting. I like that setup, actually. Floridian, yeah, maybe. Well, Mr. Edgeworth, am I to guess why you have come to see me? You know why I'm here. In fact, I'm willing to bet you know every detail of this sordid little affair already. Then I suppose we have nothing to hide from one another. Oh. Aw, he's at least nice to his owner. Your faithful canine friend is currently the chief suspect in a murder investigation. The person who found the body saw a dog with its mouth around the victim's throat. Your witness is mistaken. Helmut. Helmut, that's a good name too. Helmut is a gentle soul. He is my eyes, nothing more. It is absurd to think that he would do such a thing, isn't it, boy? Yes, it is. You're a good boy, aren't you? That's actually really cute. Helmut is more than a mere seeing eye dog, and he's certainly no good boy. He's also a trained killer. A weapon once used in this man's sordid trade. This witness of yours, he is trustworthy, I assume? Saad is anything but trustworthy, and he's still very much a suspect himself. I can hardly claim that his testimony is beyond reproach. A no, then. I thought as much. Yes, I did, Helmut, yes. It figures that he already knew who our witness is. What were you doing between 8 and 10 a.m. yesterday morning, Mr. Connus? During the show, you mean? I was here, ensconced in these humble surroundings. I have developed a passion for wood carving, you see. An obsession, even. I was engrossed in it all morning. And you have permission to engage in such a hobby? I can't believe someone would actually let you. The warden and I have an understanding. An understanding? That's ridiculous. This man shouldn't be allowed one, let alone 5 chisels. Yeah. They're nothing but lethal weapons in his hands. I was carving Buddhist pieces of art at first, but by the 674th, my interest had begun to wane. Whoa, that must have taken forever! This time is all I have, child. In any case, my focus has now shifted to pieces such as these. I didn't know you played chess. Wow, does everyone play chess in this game? You played too, do you not, Prosecutor? Perhaps one day you might indulge me. Though you may find my game rather rudimentary, I only began after my arrival here, I'm afraid. What's that piece? A dog with 3 heads? Yeah, it is, definitely. The chess thing. Ah, yes, the dogs of war. You must forgive my little joke. Chess is, after all, a game of war. Soldiers, knights, castles. All doing their utmost to protect the king, all loyal to the last. I have always thought it strange that such a game had no place for a dog. After all, what more loyal weapon could any army call upon? Still, it's simply a piece I made for fun. Fear not, I play by the regular rules, and with the regular pieces. I can't imagine it's easy finding opponents to play here in prison, though. Oh, I have many correspondents. Correspondence chess, then? Sharing moves by post. Yes, even prisoners are allowed to send and receive letters. Their contents are inspected, of course. Although I have yet to receive the details of my current opponent's next move. Oh. Sounds like this current opponent isn't a resident here. Or it could have been night. Maybe he just didn't know it was night. Emma, drop it. Drop it. Oh my gosh, I'm sorry, hold on. Also, sorry, I have a little bit of a stuffy nose today. I suppose you know the identity of the deceased, Mr. Connus? His name was Bronco Knight, was it not? Poor unfortunate soul. You keep your ear to the ground. My ears are all I have, Mr. Edgeworth. Why am I not surprised that he's plugged into the prison's information network? But perhaps he was not so unfortunate after all. What do you mean? Mr. Knight's crime was a grave one. A crime for which he would have been made to pay dearly anyway. The attempted assassination of a president? That is no small matter. Attempted assassination? Wait! Mr. Edgeworth! Didn't Mr. Knight... Yes, we proved that he murdered his team leader, and that there was no attempt on the president's life. Could it be? Are they attempting to cover up President Wang's fake assassination scheme? Whoa, whoa, whoa there, cowboy. You're saying the Bronxer didn't actually have a pop at the Prez? I was hired to defend him on the charge of attempted murder. You mean you don't know what really happened? So what, they just blamed the whole assassination thing on Mr. Knight? would explain why the committee was so keen to get it involved.
Of course! They took you off the case to try and keep you away!
And swapped in that wiener kid to push through an attempted murder charge.
In other words, they're trying to cover up the truth!
So they really were trying to frame him. According to the guards, this night, was it? They tell me he was violently insistent that he had attempted no assassination. Which would have come out anyway when the case went to trial. I am no expert in legal matters, but allow me to say this one thing. I know for a certainty that he would not have been the first inmate imprisoned on false pretenses. Ugh. An uncomfortable fact, but a fact nonetheless. Yes, Helmut. Yes, it is, yes. The courtroom is not always the bastion of truth you believe it to be, Mr. Edgeworth. No bastion of truth, huh? I've heard something to that effect before. Yes, from a certain Interpol agent who doesn't have much faith in prosecutors.
There he is.
You're not twisting the truth behind those courtroom case doors, are you? Fueled by that kind of thinking, is it any wonder that corpse produced nothing but falsities and lies? Sorry, but the truth doesn't need the likes of you to distort it today. I never was able to fully dispel his mistrust of prosecutors. Even Helmut understands, don't you, Helmut? Yes, you do. The truths revealed in court and your deductions. It is dangerous to trust either implicitly. But I am not bitter. You were not the first to make me a subject of unfounded suspicions in recent days. In fact, I was visited by another prosecutor only yesterday. He was accompanied by a judge. They even dragged the warden along, her distaste for me lingering unspoken in the air.
Not those two again!
Prosecutor Winner and Judge Gavel. They went over my cell with a fine-tooth comb, but they left empty-handed. Oh, sorry, I misclicked. They were looking for the murder weapon, I believe, to no avail. But I mustn't take it personally. Rumor has it that they searched every cell in the prison. And still failed to find what they were looking for. I pray they weren't too disappointed. Okay. So whoever did it hid the weapon very well. Well, that posed more questions than it answered. What do we do now? Son's testimony is flimsy at best. I'll need more proper evidence if I want to take Connus on. Well, I think that's quite enough chit-chat for one day. Why is the dog on the other side of the bars now? Helmut will show you out. Good boy, Helmut. Go on now. He's not showing us out permanently, right?
Well, let's get out of here, come on!
Until next time, Mr. Connus. It does pain me that our brief time must end, just as we were becoming reacquainted. I await your return, Mr. Edgeworth. I like his design, actually. He looks pretty cool. She's up on the rock! Kay, get down from there! Kay, what did I say? On the count of 3. 1, 2... Now to gather the evidence I need to bolster my case.
Hey, Mr. Edgeworth!
That's the best hiding spot she could find? It's alright, Kay, you can come down now. Where's Fender?
He ran off somewhere. I have no idea he could move that fast.
Fender.
So, what do we do now?
You and I will continue the investigation, and I know just where to start. By solving that one particular mystery that's been dogging us this whole time. Yeah, Knight's body was found in one of the prison workshops. But he was presumably being detained in one of the detention center's holding cells. So how did he wind up on the other side of those heavy security doors? Maybe there's like a tunnel or something underneath? Let's start by investigating the holding cells.
And Mr. Knight's room, right? But, what about Mr. Fender?
I'm sure he'll find us when he's ready.
Sure, but he is kind of our boss, isn't he? Oh well.
The victim's cell is just over there.
Lead the way, Mr. Edgeworth.
I've just about had it. Who's that? Oh, wait, what? Warden Lagarde. She must have come from the corridor marked no entry. He's still not talking, ma'am? Even when the evidence you borrowed from the precinct? Even with the evidence you borrowed from the precinct?
No, and I've tried so many times I've lost count. What am I supposed to do? I can't send in a blank report.
I guess a killer for hire was always going to be a tough nut to crack. A killer for hire?
Oh!
I couldn't help overhearing, Warden Lagarde, but were you just talking about body harmacanus?
My, you were listening! How very gauche of you. A girl's privacy is her armor, you know.
Do you normally conduct interrogations of the man yourself?
Oh, it's not just him, darling. I try to have the occasional ta-ta-ta with everyone you see. That's what it means to be a member of the family in this little home of ours. There isn't a person who hasn't made the pilgrimage to my office at least once.
Your office?
How sweet! He's angling for an invite. Well, I suppose it is the hottest ticket in town. It's down this corridor here, darling. But FYI, I don't let just anybody wander in willy-nilly.
Let's see, that would put it right around here. Around there, okay, yeah.
It's a wonderful room, if I do say so myself. All my guests rave about it. And who wouldn't want a view of my fabulous garden and the yard? Oh la la. The yard? If it's anything like the rest of the place, it's probably full of adorable animals, right? Can I see?
Okay, cool.
Oh, darling, it's so sweet of you to take an interest, but I'm afraid that's just not possible. Why not? Because you're not a member of our home. If you want to see it that badly, you'll just have to get convicted for doing something unspeakable.
That's a rather steep price to pay.
Oh, but just listen to me, chattering away like there's no tomorrow. It's time for Allie's lunchy brunch. The poor dear will be dying.
Allie?
The sweetest little dear in all the world. I know I shouldn't have favorites, but you know how it is. Now to the yard with me. Ciao for now, darlings. I love that the fox does the same, like, motions as her. It's so cute.
I wanted to ask her more about Canis, but she dominated the conversation from start to finish. Let's go investigate the victim's cell, shall we?
Oh, whoa, he's got like a mini... He's got like a shelf and stuff like that. That's kind of cool.
So this is Knight's cell.
When do you think he was brought in, Mr. Edgeworth?
It would had to have been the evening of the 25th, just after the events at the lake. And then at some point he wound up in the prison proper. But how? There must be some evidence here that will point us in the right direction.
Alright, let's get looking, Mr. Edgeworth.
Cool, another investigation. Keep up the good work, officer.
Sir! Yep, there's absolutely no need to keep an eye on us, because we're two great thieves of justice.
You're what now? You really needn't pluralize thieves on my account, Kay. Reflected in the mirror is a security camera, yeah.
A great thief's greatest enemy. Nothing about this place is very thief-friendly, if I'm being honest.
I think that might be entirely deliberate, Kay. Guard? I'd like you to retrieve the footage from the security camera and review it as carefully as you can. If you see anything out of the ordinary, inform me immediately. Yes, sir!
That's nice of him.
Oh, there's a...
Oh, that's to keep the desk in place. The ball and chain.
I must scour the scene and inspect anything. Okay.
Hey, look, this newspaper's got a chunk of it missing.
You're right. A few of its pages have been roughly torn out.
Yeah,
but why?
Maybe Mr. Knight wanted to clean his cell, but didn't have a cleaning cloth?
Well, there's some, like, dust cleaned up or wiped up down there. Right there. It's not a totally implausible theory, I suppose, but who would try to clean their cell?
I'm gonna examine that, actually, yeah.
There's something different about this spot here.
This part of the floor is weirdly clean. Did somebody wipe it down or something?
Why would somebody only do the part right next to the bed, though?
Maybe he moved the bed out of the way or something and there was like a hole. I don't know. Well, I don't know, or maybe there's just something under the bed in general.
This bed doesn't look very comfortable, but that pillow cover is very clean. Spotless, in fact.
I bet this is the kind of bed Gummy sleeps in. I can just picture it, can't you?
No, I sense he's more of a mattress on the floor type.
Well, maybe raise his salary, Edgeworth.
This must be Knight's suit jacket.
So I've been doing some research on my own.
Oh? And what have you discovered?
I've discovered that guys who look good in suits tend to be popular with the ladies. But don't worry. Guys with frilly neck ruffles are next on my research list.
Please stop. Oh, is there like a wire or like markings under there? In the bottom right? I wonder. A standard barred window. No signs of it having been tampered with. I don't think there's any chance our killer escaped through here.
Aha! Must remember to bring something to saw through the iron bars with. As they say, fail to prepare, prepare to fail. Glad I got the chance to scope this place out.
Okay, we're investigating a crime scene, not preparing for your eventual escape. The bowl is nice and spotless. There are no signs that the toilet paper has been used. Everything seems to be in order with this toilet here.
What? Are you serious?
Why? What's wrong?
There's no door! There's not even a curtain! Whoever designed this place should have thought a little more about the people who have to live here.
I think there might be a reason behind the open plan layout.
Like a food menu? Ooh, what's a menu doing here, Mr. Edgeworth?
It seems that those held in the detention center are able to choose what they'd like to eat each day. If they can afford it, that is.
Money makes the world go around, I guess. But doesn't that make life super easy for rich detainees?
Well, Kay, bear in mind that the people held in these cells haven't been found guilty yet. Some of them don't deserve to be punished. Quite a few of them, in fact.
So you're saying it's fine that people with money don't have a hard time of it as everyone else does?
Ugh. How did I wind up defending the practices of the detention system?
Oh, whoops. Didn't mean to click that again. Wow, that's a lot of books! Let's take a look. You'll Laugh Tomorrow? You'll Laugh Tomorrow, an anthology. Understanding Animal Emotions? Life as a Pet Stylist? Maybe there was more to Mr. Knight than meets the eye.
Sadly, I don't think there was. These were his. They were likely specifically selected and placed here for the detainees, with the hope that they would want to be better themselves during their time here. A second chance at life. Interviews with a former prisoner. These books appear to have been written by current model prisoners and former inmates.
Oh, I like the look of this one. 200 Days to Freedom, an escape story. And this one too, making money while serving time?
This facility may have more deeply rooted problems than I thought.
Hey, look at this weird piece of paper. Yeah, so Knight probably was doing the correspondence chess with Connus. Hey, Cash.
There's some sort of grid on it. Let's take a closer look.
Yeah, yep.
The grid appears to be a chess diagram. The victims, I suppose.
What's a chess diagram?
A visual representation of a game of chess. See how the locations of all the pieces are marked? This seems to be a closely fought contest. But perhaps if this pawn was here, perhaps... But perhaps if this pawn were... No, wait.
Not now, Mr. Edgeworth. This is no place to be playing games.
Yes, I suppose you're right. This isn't the first time I've seen this configuration of pieces. It was from a different perspective, but it was definitely the same game. Perhaps it would be wise to take another look at the evidence in my possession.
Yep.
Eureka!
This chess game, I've seen it before.
Enough with the chess chat, Mr. Edgeworth. We're supposed to be investigating here. Focus!
I am investigating. This particular bit of chess chat could prove to be vital. Now, take a look at this. Can you tell me what it is?
It's the chess set we saw in Mr. Connus' cell. But I don't really know the rules of chess, so...
The rules of the game are not important here. What is important are the positions of the pieces. Compare the ones in Mr. Connus' cell with these. Do you notice anything?
Ah! I don't know which piece is which or anything, but if you turn the diagram like this, there are pieces in the same squares.
Indeed. There's no dog on the diagram, but that's to be expected. Apart from that, however, the positions of the pieces are identical.
And what does that tell us?
Oh, I have many correspondents. As unlikely as it may seem, Mr. Connus' chess opponent was...
Mr. Knight?
This could be just the proof we need to show that Mr. Connus had a connection to the victim.
So we're gonna have to interrogate him. I mean, I figured, like, he looked very important. Okay, anything else in here? Okay. Let's see what we can connect. Maybe just these two?
This part of the floor has been wiped clean.
Maybe he spilled some grape juice.
Who knows? But we can certainly imagine what he used to do the wiping. The torn out pages of that newspaper.
Why wouldn't he just ask a guard for a cloth or something, though?
Perhaps he didn't want anyone to see what he was wiping up.
Yeah, I wonder. Or maybe... I don't know if it would be him wiping something up, though. Maybe.
I think we've about exhausted this cell. We've made significant progress by establishing a connection between Mr. Connors and the victim.
This is bad, sir!
Hmm? Oh, not Gumshoe, okay. Is that the guard?
The security camera footage, sir. I watched it, and...
What is it? Can you show it to us?
Yes, sir. I have a small playback monitor with me.
Then what are you waiting for? Let's see it! Oh! Oh! Oh god, what? What's that?
That black thing, is that dog? It's that dog, right?
Until now, our assumption was that the crime had taken place inside the prison proper. But it seems that assumption may have been wrong. Knight had actually been attacked in this location, in his own, cell, right?
Take that!
Right here in the detention center. And the perpetrator was indeed Mr. Connors' dog. This is just the evidence we need. But how did the dog get inside? Yeah, and it looked too small to be the dog. The dog was huge. And if this is where Knight was actually murdered, then one of the pieces of evidence we found here in this cell takes on a whole new meaning. If Knight's cell was the crime scene, which piece of evidence takes on a new significance? The wiped floor?
Take that!
The floor of Knight's cell was wiped clean, presumably to remove something. Could that something have been his blood? Thank you, officer. Would you mind doing me one more favor? Name it, sir. There's a detective by the name of Gumshoe somewhere in this facility. I need you to give him a message. Tell him to have this cell tested for traces of blood, and to report the results to Edgeworth. You got it, sir!
Now we can really go after that Connors guy, right, Mr. Edgeworth?
No, not yet. We still don't know how Knight and the dog moved between his cell and the prison proper.
Right, so that's what we need to figure out next. What's the flight, coach? Where are we off to?
I suspect one of the guards might know something. We should ask those posted nearby and see what they have to tell us.
Okay, time to get asking... Huh? Hey, it's him! Nice!
Thanks for the tour. Later.
This guy's awesome. He's a jerk, but he's awesome.
Well, well, Mr. Prosecutor and his little friend. I didn't expect to run into you here. Must be my lucky day. This is Agent Shilong Lang of Interpol. He was in charge of a case I worked on 2 weeks back. I thought he had gone home to Zhangfa after that, but here he is. You had some business to take care of, I take it, Agent Lang. You could say that. Nothing that needs concern you, though.
First a black hound and now a wolf all in black. Hey, wait, why are you all alone today?
That's true. He's usually accompanied by an army of police officers. I hear you were at it again a couple days back, sticking your nose into things. Couple of days back? He means the incident with President of Zhangfa. Actually, I thought you might be there as well, heading up the security detail. Our president doesn't have much faith in the efficiency of the efficacy? The efficacy of his own country's police force. Maybe now I'll think twice before using contractors again. Amateurs. Agent Lang doesn't have much faith in prosecutors or the courts to do their jobs right. Which is why he's so meticulous about investigating with his hand-picked cream-of-the-crop officers. Indeed, no doubt things would have turned out differently had you and your men been in charge. My men, huh? Yeah, those guys aren't around anymore. What? They're not? It's funny, isn't it? I'm a real lone wolf now. What are you saying, Agent Lang? What on earth happened? I told you, it doesn't concern you. See you around, Mr. Prosecutor.
Wow, he seemed not okay.
Yes, and I would very much like to know why, but there's nothing we can do about it right now. We'll worry about Agent Lang later. We have an investigation to conduct.
Alright, let's start by talking to these guards. That was nice getting to see him for a few minutes.
Oh man, I'm in so much trouble. What's the matter? You seem perturbed. Oh, well, you see, one of my uniforms is missing. I could have sworn it was right here in my locker.
Did it grow a pair of legs and run off somewhere?
Where in the world did that idea spring up?
Anyway, I hope you track it down. I'll be rooting for you.
Thanks, I appreciate it. Oh.
Wait, didn't the person in the footage, look like he was wearing a uniform, not, like, a tie or what? Let me see this again. Oh, I can't watch it again.
I was wondering, have you seen an enormous black dog wandering around here recently?
That thing? No way, if I had,
well, let's just say I'd be a lot more nervous about standing guard here.
So, do you and this dog have some kind of history or something?
Now, Kay, you should know when to let the sleeping dogs lie. By the sound of it, Conus's dog hasn't been spotted on this side of those heavy security doors. Hey, are those my faithful assistants I see before me? Fender, and where exactly have you been? Where have I been? I've been looking for you two. Been searching high and low. Wandering lonelily through these prison halls. It was terrible, I tell you.
But the prison's over there on the other side of the facility, boss.
Oh, Eddie. So listen, I just got the lowdown on some seriously dynamite material. You want to hear it, right? Right? Seamless. I was chatting with a few of the guards and they told me something très interessant. Turns out the Bronxster had himself a little incident 2 days ago. Pre-mortem, if you catch my drift. An incident? Simeon told you he came to visit his pal, right? Well, it happened right after they'd wrapped up, when Bronco was being escorted back to his cell.
Oh gee, his face kind of looks weird there.
They tried to Giga Chat him a little bit, but it didn't quite work. It was just one guard and he was handcuffed, Hobbs. They'd made it back and the ground— oh! Why did it skip again? Oh my gosh. They'd made it back and the guard was taking off his cuffs when the Bronxer clobbered him. Knocked the poor guy out cold. Sounds like it might have been to prelude the prelude to a jailbreak. Because when the other guards showed up, they couldn't find their comrade's keys. Were there any rumblings about Knight attempting an escape? That's the bit that fries the old noggin. There were none. He just sat in his cell, then turned up dead. And what's more, he swore right to the end that he never stole the keys. They turned his cell inside out too, but no dice. The guard who was struck. What did he have to say? Nothing. Poor guy was still out when they took him to the hospital. Word is, he's still there. So there's nobody around to tell us what really happened. Okay. That's all we need. Ah, there he is, the kid.
Why are you still hanging around here like a bad smell? Hey there, little buddy. Listen, Miles here is working with me now as an associate. Nonsense! You're all just here to cause trouble and turn my investigation into a fart. Eustace means farce, of course. A simple slip of the tongue.
Seemed like a reasonably apt choice of words to me.
Judge Gavel, great to see you again. I know who you are. You are Simeon Saint's attorney. Guilty as charged. Now that we've broken the ice, how about a friendly... Or not, I'm totally cool either way. I love you. Now, did I hear you correctly? That Mr. Edgeworth has joined the defense team? Yep, and me too. We're officially employees of Edgeworth & Co. But a prosecutor is a public servant. You would draw your sword of the goddess to work for personal gain?
It's not a problem if I'm not getting paid, though, correct?
Exactly what he said. Miles here's just a volunteer. We're all about the pro bono. We're all about the pro bono stuff over at Edgeworth & Co. How wonderful. So you all work without reward? The goddess would surely approve. Yeah, I'm a regular philanthropist.
Judge Gavel, I was hoping to ask about the grounds for Simeon Saint's arrest.
That information is on a neat... Is that a challenge I hear? Oh, come on.
No, I was just asking Judge Gavel.
I'm always ready for a little verbal combat to show you what it takes to be a real winner.
I can't wait for this. This is gonna be awesome. How is it verbal combat if you won't let me speak? Still, this could prove useful. Fine, we'll do as you suggest. Now, if you could begin by telling us why Mr. Saint was arrested.
There will be no need for that. Eustace, we should... Not now, Gavel. Watch and wonder. As I put this pathetic prosecutor in his place, he's going to run rings around me.
I think you meant to say that you would be the one running rings around me.
And I will. So badly that your ears will be ringing. Perhaps to prepare to be humbled, Edgeworth.
Let's do this. Come on, little brat.
It's still playing his theme, oh my god. You want to know why I arrested that man? It's simple. Simple. I found evidence. Evidence of him all over that thing. How's that for some winningly incontrovertible, conclusive proof? And who saw the truth first? Why, it's me, of course. Winner by name, winner by nature.
Where do I even begin?
Look at you, utterly lost for words in the face of such mastery. I'll take your silence as yet another win.
Honestly, does he ever shut up? You said that you were the one who arrested Mr. Saint. But do you even have the authority to do so, Mr. Winner?
Well, obviously, it was the police who actually arrested him. But I told them to do it, so I think I can claim the credit, don't you?
Of course that's what he meant. This is clearly going to take a while. A shame, really. Given that I'm much more interested in what Judge Gavel is silently thinking of over there.
Is she a little bit of like a daydreamer? That's so cute.
Hold it!
I'm just checking, but you do know who it was you arrested, correct?
Huh? Is this some kind of joke? Of course I know who I arrested. It was Simeon Saint.
Good to know he remembers that much, at least.
Hold it!
Rock solid, you say? I'm impressed.
Hold on. I know what you're trying to do here. You're trying to butter me up. Well, it might work on the chumps you meet in court, but it won't work on me. The evidence we found is certainly rather damning for Mr. Saint. Perhaps you should tell Mr. Edgeworth about it, Eustace. Damning is right, and it was the
And it was on the strength of that evidence that I decided to arrest him.
Hold it!
Evidence of him was all over that thing? Could you be a little more specific, Mr. Winner?
Do I really have to spell it out for you, Mr. Edgeworth?
I'd hoped even you could put 2 and 2 together. Stop messing around. The onus is on you to provide a comprehensible testimony.
Come now, Eustace. I'm sure Mr. Edgeworth and his friends would be very interested to learn how you cracked the case. They certainly look keen to hear about it.
Fine, if you insist. I'll fill in the gaps.
Brace yourselves, because this is going to blow your tiny little minds.
I bet you didn't even know, but the victim had, wait for it, a chess set with him. And that chess set was covered in fingerprints of a certain Mr. Simeon Saint.
Praise be to the goddess of justice for the insight she offers. And congratulations once again, Mr. Eustace. You would not object to Eustace amending his testimony, I trust, Mr. Edgeworth? Anything for you, my love.
No, by all means, please do. Mr. Saint's fingerprints were right there, all over the victim's chess set.
Hold it!
Oh my gosh, is he gonna have to amend, like, every statement? But you weren't the one who actually found his prints, were you? Of course not. I'm a prosecutor. I leave the dirty work for forensics. The fingerprints are certainly a problem, but then that chess set was... I should take another look at the evidence.
Hold it!
The only incontrovertible fact here is that you don't know how to give a proper testimony. What are you talking about? It's not my fault if you can't keep up.
Perhaps I could be so bold as to offer some additional details. The only fingerprints found on the scene belong to the guards, the prisoners, the victim, and Mr. Saint. I think you'll agree that Mr. Saint was the only prince that had no business being there.
Yes, exactly! Now do you get it, Edgeworth? I do, but I'm not so sure about you.
Hold it!
He really is amending every statement, that's so funny. If there were other prints at the crime scene, shouldn't those people be suspects too?
Other people? I don't think so.
And why not?
Had Mr. Saint's prints not been found on the chess set, those others would indeed have been suspects. Yet somehow his prints were there, despite the fact that they had no business being there. Maybe he brought it to him.
Exactly! Which means Mr. Saint was, the Saint is...
He is neither a prisoner nor a guard. Therefore, he should not have been able to enter the prison. Finding his prints in a place he shouldn't have had access to is grounds enough for an arrest, is not?
Yeah, what she said. Not bad, Gaval.
You are too kind.
These two are a great combo, actually. She has to correct him. She has to correct everything he says.
Hold it!
You saw it first, and I suppose you can prove that? I made the connection the moment I saw the crime scene. And this is cute. This is adorable. It was a lightning-fast deductive leap. What more evidence do you need? Well, you haven't given me any evidence at all so far, so... You still don't get it, do you? Well, don't worry. We can't all be born winners. I'm not sure I even want to get whatever it is he's talking about. For pressing every single one of Eustace's statements. I got an achievement, and it said for pressing every single one of his statements and forcing him to amend it. That's amazing. I figured it out in a flash, a matter of light years. The winner wins again. Oh, I didn't press it, whoops. Kind of vague, and really hard to follow. Indeed. Perhaps I'd better start by teaching him how to properly express himself.
Don't hold back, Mr. Edgeworth. Knock him into shape.
Hold it!
Are you sure you mean light years, Mr. Winner?
Maybe? Light years are a measure of distance, not time, Eustace. An easy mistake to make.
Oh! What was that pause for? Was he rebooting from a blue screen moment? Well, that was... okay. Oh, that's... okay. Let me... It belonged to night and was brought to... oh!
Objection!
Yeah, that's an easy thing to correct. So the fingerprints on the chest set are the ace up your sleeve? The what up my what? Oh, yes! The chest set is... oh my god. I'm so bad at reading right now, I'm so sorry. Oh, yes! The chest set up the ace's sleeve. That's right, Edgeworth. I've got a winning hand, as usual. Only your winning hand is a busted flush. For you see, it was Simeon Saint who brought that chess set to the victim in the first place. Therefore, it's only natural that his fingerprints are all over it.
Gah! Thank you for the hydrate, Yenny.
That took a while to sink in. In conclusion, those fingerprints aren't proof of anything, and Mr. Saint's arrest was premature.
Premature...
The incident took place here within the walls of this facility. And being neither a guard nor a prisoner, it makes very little sense to suspect Mr. Saint.
Oh!
Ah! Now what?
I think you might be the premature one here, Edgeworth. And to think you were the one accusing me of being hasty.
Did he only just work out what that word means? Sure, I identified Mr. Saint as a suspect faster than pretty much anybody else.
And I won the race when it came to picking out the crucial evidence.
Too. I'm quick on the draw, you see.
But hasty?
Not at all.
You're right that Mr. Saint isn't a guard or a prisoner here, but he was.
Overruled.
Oh. Eustace?
Judge Gavel?
Butt out, Gavel! I have him right where I want him! Forgive me, Eustace, but if I may... While the particulars of the suspect are indeed fascinating, don't we have something a little more impressive to share with the prosecutor? Something more impressive? If you wouldn't mind, Mr. Edgeworth. Eustace made an ingenious deduction concerning the murder weapon. Perhaps you would like to hear it?
Yes, of course, that. Well remembered, Gavel.
Then listen to this, Edgeworth, and prepare to be amazed! I'll wait for the ad to end, just in case. Okay.
Objection!
Will this ingenious deduction explain why Mr. Saint was arrested?
Let's just say you won't be disappointed.
Judge Gavel deliberately diverted the conversation away from my line of questioning. What exactly is she up to?
Excuse me.
Fact 1. The murder weapon was some sort of metal blade. Fact 2. Potentially deadly blades are strictly controlled within the prison walls, as we both know. From these two facts, I concluded that the weapon in question must have come from outside. It must have been hidden inside the chest set. That's what I think anyway. And since the only prints were found on the chest set belonged to the victim and the suspect, I'd say it's blindingly obvious who brought the weapon in and used it, wouldn't you? If nothing else, his testimony this time is a little more comprehensible than the last.
Another winning deduction brought to you by one Winner Eustace, Prosecutor Extraordinaire.
More like winner useless prosecutor extraordinaire, if you ask me. That was...
But how could anyone even hide a weapon like a chess set?
Good question. Why don't you take a look for yourselves? Inside the chessboard? I suppose there's only one way to find out.
Yeah, we already examined this.
There's nothing in here but chess pieces.
That laugh is really something.
He seems pretty convinced that the weapon was hidden in here somewhere.
And, like, right here? Oh!
What? The stiff lining at the top opens like a flap door.
Whoa, that's plenty of room in there.
Indeed. More than enough to hide something like a small knife.
Ingenious, no. The killer snuck the weapon in by...
Objection!
Huh? What do you mean, huh? Let me finish, will you?
I fear you've not been listening, Mr. Winner. Or perhaps you're simply forgotten. The detention center is outfitted with a security gate.
Huh? I mean, yeah, and? The security gate also acts as a metal detector, Eustace. We must pass through another one on the way into the prison itself, remember? Yes, that's right. Of course I remember.
He definitely didn't. It would have been impossible to smuggle a metal blade through such a gate into the facility. Which would seem to blow a rather large hole in your reasoning, Mr. Winner.
Overruled.
Oh, come on. That gate is only used to scan people. Any items they brought into the facility are only subject to a cursory check.
Well, that's fucking stupid. Are you telling me that the chess set wasn't put through the metal detector?
It should have been. Alas, it seems the guards have grown a little lax in that regard of late.
Well, yeah, this place is freaking... should be closed down then.
Very good. Thank you, Gavel. It was my pleasure. I love you! Now, Mr. Edgeworth, if you would be so kind as to begin your cross-examination.
Cross-examination? It's like she's holding a trial. Well, no matter. Let's see how well this ingenious deduction of Mr. Winner's holds up, shall we?
Hold it!
A metal blade, you say? And do you have any evidence to support this?
You mean you didn't even look at the victim's injuries? Why am I not surprised, you third-rate? The fatal blow was a stab wound to the neck! And it was delivered by a knife-like blade. That much is obviously without a doubt.
It appears that they're not yet aware of a certain other piece of information.
Lost for words, are we? Then I'll just keep going. My brilliant deductions don't end there, you know.
Hold it!
The fact that such objects are strictly controlled doesn't mean they're actually forbidden.
Well, no. I mean, some of the prisoners used scissors to cut the animal's hairs, and that avenue of enquiry was conscientiously pursued, as you no doubt recall, Eustace. Yes, only one blade of object has been signed out by a single prisoner at the time of the incident.
Oh no, that's not true.
The item was tested for traces of blood, but none were found.
I suppose he's referring to the scissors Mr. Sawt was using.
Oh, that one. So there's no way the blade in question came from inside the prison. From these two facts, I concluded that the weapon in question must have come from outside.
Hold it!
Outside? What does that mean exactly?
The opposite of inside, you numbskull!
Was that an attempt at clarification or a put down? because it clearly accomplished neither.
What Eustace means to say is that it must have been brought in from outside the prison by Mr. Saint.
Honestly, Edgeworth, if you hadn't figured that out by now...
Then you're an even bigger loser than I thought.
The feeling is mutual, believe me. Mr. Saint clearly brought the murder weapon into the prison. The question is, how?
Hold it!
But no murder weapon was found at the crime scene. And there's nothing inside the chessboard either. I'm curious, Mr. Winner. Do you also have thoughts about where this weapon might be?
It's... well, the perpetrator must have hidden it somewhere in the prison.
Is there a problem with this claim? Yes. They hid it somewhere in the prison. That seems unlikely. In fact, I can prove that's not the case. The fact that they searched everywhere. Searched the prison for the murder weapon but couldn't find anything.
Take that!
I'm starting to worry about your memory, Mr. Winner. Didn't you and the good judge search the prison with Warden Lagarde? And didn't you fail to find a likely murder weapon?
Oh! Oh, that's... yikes. Careful with that, dude. Well, yes, but I guess we just missed it, that's all. Wow, way to undermine yourself.
You're saying your search wasn't entirely thorough? You, the so-called winning rookie?
Stop making fun of me! Eustace? Calm yourself. Breathe deeply. Do not allow your opponents to get under your skin.
You're right. I'm a winner. Why should I let a third-rate loser like Edgeworthless here under my skin? I'll thank you to leave my name out of this.
Well, I'm Kay Faraday, and I'm A-OK!
Not you too, please. Look, it's simple. Since my first-rate investigation didn't turn up any weapon, it means there wasn't one to find. Which leaves only one possibility. The murderer took the weapon with him when he left the prison. That's why we couldn't find it when he looked, obviously.
Objection!
No, because of the metal detector. But what you're proposing is impossible. And this proves why the culprit couldn't possibly have taken the weapon out of the prison with them. I need to stop trying to talk so fast, oh my god.
Take that!
More memory trouble, Mr. Winner? Now you're forgetting things you yourself said. Are you making fun of me again? Oh, so you remember what I said. But perhaps you might have been better served by remembering this. What's that?
Wait, does he seriously not remember?
It would certainly seem that way. There's a security gate at each of the entrances to the detention center and the prison proper. Coming from the prison, anyone leaving the facility would have had to have passed through both of them. 2 gates, both fitted with metal detectors.
Oh, wait! Now I remember! Looks like he got his memory back!
So as you can see, there's no way anyone could have taken a weapon out through both gates. And therefore, there is no way the murder weapon could have left the building.
Gah!
That has to hurt really bad. Stop doing that, dude.
In which case, Mr. Edgeworth, perhaps you would care to tell us where you think the murder weapon might be.
It is still here on the premises. That's the only plausible conclusion to be drawn.
But we searched the prison from top to bottom and couldn't find anything.
Because you were never going to find anything to begin with. Now, when you were laboring under the misconception that it's a blade you were looking for...
Yeah, we know the truth about what happened to Mr. Knight. We've seen it with our own eyes.
That's quite a claim. I assume you have the evidence to support it?
What is the weapon that was used to commit the crime?
Take a look at this, Judge Gabel, and the weapon used in this case will become clear.
Take that!
I don't think this is true, but this is all we have to go on so far. This is footage taken from a security camera trained on Knight's holding cell. Now watch it for yourselves and see. I wonder why it plays so fast. Is it because the frame rate's faster?
What? But how?
This footage captures the moment the victim was attacked by a black dog. More than sufficient proof of how he really died, wouldn't you say?
Yes, it is certainly significant.
So now we know that Knight was in fact killed in his cell by a vicious dog. A dog that moved the victim's body to the prison workshop post-mortem. We know this thanks to an eyewitness who saw the dog in the workshop when the body was discovered. Of course, I think we can all agree that there is no way the dog could have planned such a crime itself. Indeed, I fear it may be by his handiwork after all.
Overruled.
That's quite enough of that, Mr. Edgeworth.
Judge Gavel?
You are correct that this footage is an important piece of evidence. But it also raises an important new question. A question that I suspect you have also been asking yourself.
She's right. There is one major problem with my version of the events.
The black dog. The one that belongs to the one of the inmates. How did it move between the holding cells and the prison proper at will? Oh! How do we answer that one, Mr. Edgeworth?
The truth is, I don't know yet.
Of course not. Can it, Wonder Boy? You didn't even notice there was a problem.
Overruled.
Until the defense provides an adequate explanation, the court cannot accept your line of logic. That is all. Court is adjourned.
But, wait! There's still so much more to explore!
Overruled.
Court is no longer in session, Mr. Edgeworth. If you would be so kind as to leave the courtroom.
Court was never in session in the first place.
Once again, this court is
Objection!
We may not have all the answers yet, but you haven't explained anything either regarding Mr. Saint.
What do you mean?
Just as we don't know how the dog made it into one of the detention cellar's holding cells, you can't know how Mr. Saint could have made it inside the detention center, let alone the prison either. He would have been allowed as far as the visitor's room to see his friend, but no further. So it's hard for me to conceive how he could have committed a crime in a place he had no access to.
Oh shit.
Judge Gavel, I believe it's your turn to provide some proof. Proof that Simeon Saint was able to enter this prison.
Overruled.
No, you. You wish for the court to provide you with proof? Highly irregular, but very well.
What? They actually have something?
Now seems like a good time as any. And I suppose you have been kind enough to share your own theories of the case.
What's she building up to here?
Mr. Edgeworth, I suspect you don't know what Mr. Saint does for a living, so allow me to fill you in. He is a circus performer.
A what?
Yes, perhaps you've heard of the Very Big Not again.
Oh,
don't be silly, darling. Of course I was. Yesterday was a very important day, after all.
Important in what way, exactly? A big meeting of some kind, perhaps?
A meeting? Oh, heavens, no. I couldn't think of anything worse. No, yesterday the circus came to visit. You see it now, I assume? As I am sure you are aware, a show was held yesterday for the prisoners' entertainment. A show featuring animals and performers, performed by members of the Very Big Circus. So does that mean Mr. Saint? Yes, Mr. Saint was allowed inside the prison as part of that show. A fact that has been confirmed beyond reasonable doubt.
No! She held on to that fact until the last possible moment. She let me run with my own theory, and only afterwards did she use it to reveal the truth. Wait. That must be why she steered him onto a different topic back then, too. I got you good, didn't I? You third-rate prosecutor. This has nothing to do with you.
Hey, welcome back, Annie. Gentlemen, this court is well and truly adjourned. If I might offer a word of advice, Mr. Edgeworth. Your conduct as a prosecutor is already in question. You would do well to remember that you were removed from this case for the precise reason.
What are you trying to say?
That the committee reserves the right to confiscate your badge at any time. Should you wish to retain it, you would do well to avoid crossing paths with us again.
Is that a threat?
The goddess of justice is compassionate, Mr. Edgeworth, but she is not endlessly forgiving. Oh, and one last thing. You are no defense attorney. Abandon this foolish pretense.
Thank you for your concern, but I do not abandon anything. When I start, I finish.
Well, do try to remember that the two jobs are not one and the same, and that a defense attorney is expected to develop something of a bond with their client. Next time, finding out your client's real occupation might be a good place to start.
Ugh!
That's actually a good. Why didn't friggin' Eddie tell us that? Now I really must be going. May the goddess of justice watch all over you. Over all of you.
Oh, Eddie's just been there silent the whole time. He just didn't want to butt in at all.
So Simeon lied to us.
Not just you two. Guy took me for a ride too. What's his deal? Whoa, you're not having second thoughts about all this, are you, Milesy boy? Sure, Judge Gavel is a tough cookie, but that doesn't mean you can just give up the ghost. The defense never rests, as a wise man once said, and that goes for associates too. Don't worry, Fender, I have no intention of resting. Nevertheless, our assumption that Mr. Saint couldn't have entered the prison has been proven false. Which means we'll need to restart our investigation from square one, I'm afraid.
Oh my gosh, wow. Still another, continue. Wow. This case is pretty long. Either that or it's just giving more breaks.
Simeon? You withheld information from me. Why?
I didn't withhold anything! Oh, or at least I didn't mean to. Okay, so you are a member of the Very Big Circus, right? No! I mean, yes, but no. I'm not really a member. I'm still new.
That's irrelevant. You're still a member.
Oh my gosh, dude. Let's try this again. Why didn't you tell us? Because it would have looked so suspicious. Me being a performer in the circus show. And me being friends with Bronco. I thought that if anyone found out, nobody would believe I was innocent. Not even you, Kay.
I thought I'd made it clear that I believed in you.
But when you stare at me like that, I get so terrified and
You're a real smooth operator, aren't you, Miles? Any other client scaring tips you want to share? You're really not helping, Vendor. And at this rate, it sounds like we really will need to question him about everything all over again.
So what do you do at the circus, Simeon? I'm an animal tamer. Kind of. I'm still learning the ropes. That's so cool! Do you get to train lions and tigers and bears and stuff? Lions? Tigers? Bears? Oh my! No! I work with this little guy.
Looks pretty tame already to me.
It's Money! The monkey! Oh yeah, I guess Money would have to have a new owner since, his owner
got arrested. So you're not exactly a tamer, more like one of those old-timey organ grinders? What? Not now, Money. I'm trying to... Oh, you little scamp. Oh, that's a little creepy, honestly. Did they take inspiration from... Well, no, that's not true. Like, the whole hair pulling thing to move limbs isn't exclusive to Disney. Something tells me that the organ grinder who's being monkeyed around. When we spoke to you before, you said you worked at a company. I was telling the truth. The circus really is a company. We all have titles and everything. The ringmaster's the CEO, and I guess you'd call me a gopher. I even have a line manager. She's head of the animal taming department. It's part of the showbiz division. She's such an inspiration. There isn't a creature in the world she couldn't convince to do her bidding. Is she actually legal in this game? I hope so. Even Miles here? I'd like to see somebody whip him into shape. I am not some kind of creature, Fender. By the way, I didn't mean that as, like, I want to like her. I mean that as, like, it was a very uncomfortable and creepy fact about the character that he's talking about in a previous game. Which would, really fix things if they actually did make her of legal age in this game, so that it wasn't quite so, creepy. Yeah. She's a young... Yeah, she was young in the second game. This game's a year and a half. Takes place a year and a half after the second game, I think? It's the second Phoenix Wright game, I mean. And she was like... I think only like 15 or 16. And there were like grown adults that were in their like 30s that were trying to propose to her. And it was just really creepy and just really gross. So, if she's a little older in this game, then that would be great, so that it would no longer be awkward. So this line manager, was she working with you on the show? Yes, it was just us two. It wasn't all that big of a job compared to what we normally do. She's usually the one performing on stage. I just do all the monkey work. But I did have a bit of a part this time. So only 2 members of the circus are relevant to this case. Alright, talk me through your movements here at the facility. Sure. I came to see Bronco at around noon 2 days ago. And that was when you brought him the chess set? Yes. And that same evening, I started working on setting up the stage in the yard. It was so hard! I had to haul everything in by myself over multiple trips. They let us use one of the rooms in the prison for storage. Workshop A, I think. Workshop A, where Knight's body was found. You mean your boss didn't help you? Oh no, I could never ask her to shelp all that stuff around. Like I said, the monkey's work is my job. Once it was all set up, we did a run-through and it must have been, midnight by the time I left. The next morning I was back and ready for the show, which started at 8 a.m. Then we performed till 10? So Mr. Saint was the only one of the pair to have entered the room where the body was found. And Knight's body was found immediately after the show had ended. Do you have any idea why you were arrested? And why so quickly? I've never seen a guy get booked so fast. Surely even Little Winner wouldn't just pull somebody in on a hunch. Never underestimate the power of an underdeveloped intellect. I think I might know why. When I was moving all the stuff, I went to go see how he was doing. Bronco, I mean. You went to the holding cells on your own? Tell me you had permission.
No, it wasn't a formal visit or anything, so I just sort of snuck over and hope no one stopped me.
But you just seen him earlier the same day. Why take the risk?
I've known him since we were kids, when we both of us were all alone. He doesn't have a family, you see, just like me. I knew he'd be feeling lonely, that he'd want somebody to talk to, so I had to go see him.
You don't have a family?
For a while I had my dad, but he passed away when I was a little kid.
Losing one's father as a child. I know that pain all too well.
He's just like you and me, Mr. Edgeworth.
There was nobody else nearby when you went to see him.
No, the other holding cells were empty and I didn't see any guards.
Well, somebody must have seen you, or you wouldn't be in there.
Oh no! No! I messed up so bad, didn't I?
So the assumption is that something happened while the two were all alone together? At least I imagine that would be Winner and Judge Gavel's thinking. In any case, I think we'll need to speak to your boss next.
Last I heard, she's supposed to be around today, too. Somewhere in the yard. Tell her I'm sorry, won't you? I'm so sorry. I can't believe I let this happen. Sure thing, Simeon. We're here for you. If there's anything else we can do, just say the word. But, I mean, that is, there's nothing I can do for you in return. You don't have to worry about that. We're friends. We know what it's like to be in your shoes. We're all part of the same club, after all. Right, Mr. Edgeworth?
Unfortunately so, I'm afraid.
Yeah, they called him Simeon.
Thank you for sharing such personal details with us. By the sound of it, you had little reason to kill Knight. If anything, you're the one who's most affected by his passing. And what's more, I simply don't believe a person as gentle as you is capable of murder.
Edgeworth.
I would be more careful if I were you, Edgeworth. Just to be safe. I don't know. We still don't know that much about this guy. Rest assured, we believe you, and we will get you out of here.
Well, what do we have here? A gosh darn defense attorney, that's what. Bravo, big guy.
Fan translation had him called Simon Keys.
Yeah, that kind of makes sense, because he's doing, like, those old, like, motions of, like, covering the eyes, mouth, and ears thing. And he controls, well, not controls, but he works with, the monkey. So that makes sense, actually. I can't believe I'm saying it, but you even remind me of your old man for a moment there.
I did? From the Book of Gregory, an attorney is a friend to the friendless.
Simeon, me bucko, this guy'll suffer any hardship for your friendship.
Things are gonna be shiply amazing. I didn't realize Talk Like a Pirate Day had come early this year, Fender.
But that's just the thing. You never know when a pirate will strike next. Anyway, kid, you want some candy? No, thanks. I don't like sweet stuff.
Oh, huh. Bummer.
I wouldn't mind a nice ship myself. A great thieves' galleon for the dread pirate K. Yar har, me hearties! We'll sail the seven seas together and claim the greatest treasure of all, the truth.
Shiver me timbers, you two will be the death of me. Come on, let's set sail for the prison yard. But no sea shanties on the way, please.
At least he's fun enough to play along a little bit there. Look, the shutter's open!
That's the way out to the yard, I believe.
Let's go take a look. Come on, what are we waiting for?
Someone's excited.
Hold on really quick, I'm gonna recalibrate my, V-bridger. There we go. Sorry, it was making me frown a little bit too easily.
So this is the famous yard. The circus performance was taking place here just before the body was discovered.
Check it out! The well.
And the rope, oh my god. That's how they, yeah, the tunnel underground in the well. That's how they dragged the body.
Check it out! It's like the backdrop to some epic festival!
Most of the prisoners were assembled here when the body was discovered, which means that anyone who saw the show has an alibi.
That's true, yeah.
Alright, time to take a look around.
Eek!
Kay?
Stop hitting me! Help, Mr. Edgeworth!
Cease and desist, you beast!
Who's that?
There she is. This is who I was talking about.
Oh, you found a new friend to play with. Good for you, girl. Play with? Your elephant nearly ate me.
No way, she'd never do something like that.
Azea doesn't even bite. At least, not very often.
So she does have a taste for human flesh.
How did you like meeting a real live elephant up close? Aren't you glad you did? Yeah, glad I didn't die. But you did have fun, right? Right?
There, sweetie, don't cry. She had a wonderful time, didn't you, Kay? Don't mislead the poor girl, Fender.
She did! I'm so happy!
Here, let me make it up to you. Fender, Eddie, no, stay back. Gah, keep your trunk to yourself.
Aw, another new friend. Isn't this just the best day ever?
I am Associate Defense Attorney Miles Edgeworth.
Oh my gosh, I'm so sorry. I haven't even introduced myself. I'm Regina. It's so nice to meet you. I'm Kay, Great Thief Extraordinaire and Miss Associate Defense Attorney,
Oh my gosh. Speak right, okay.
I'm Kay, Great Thief Extraordinaire and Mr. Associate Defense Attorney's Great Associate.
The self-introduction brought to you by the word convoluted.
And your elephant's newest friend is Mr. Fender, the defense attorney. Oh, she's not just any elephant, that's Azea, the Asian elephant. Azea stopped the second you told her to. You really have a way with animals, Regina. Well, I wouldn't be much of an animal tamer if I didn't. What, so you're Simeon's boss? That's right. Regina Berry, head of the Animal Taming Department, Showbiz Division. Berry Big Circus. It's so lovely to meet all of you.
The pleasure's all ours, mademoiselle. Name's Eddie Fender. I'm a bit of an ace attorney. So much for whipping me into shape.
Yes, she's perfect.
What are you muttering to yourself about,
That positivity, that charisma, that energy. Regina, you'd make a perfect partner in crime for the Great Thief Yadagarsu.
Kay, please don't.
Great Thief? That sounds like fun! My animals and I have stolen the spotlight quite a bit in our time. That's the thing we don't want to steal. Gotta keep it on the down low, all stealthy ninja-like. But where's the fun without a show? The down low sounds like it might get me down. Bummer. I think we've got a fundamental difference of opinion going on here.
It would indeed appear that negotiations have broken down. Maybe next time, Kay.
Well, Mr. Edgeworth, let's get cracking. Too bad we can't see much of what's beyond that metal fence, though.
Indeed, and we're in sore need of information in addition to evidence. Therefore, we should make an effort to talk with any person of interest as well.
Okay, I just need to confirm. 7, That's better, but at least so far there's no old, like, 40-year-old men hitting on her. Hey!
Who are you shouting at?
Ponds like these usually have goldfish in them, right? I wanted to see if they'd come and say hello.
I only see water striders.
Hey, water striders are cool. They can walk on water like ninjas. Man, I wish I could do that.
So much for the goldfish.
Danger, high voltage. I never see one of these in real life. Hey, that must be the fabulous garden outside the warden's office over there.
Warden Lagarde mentioned being able to see it from her window on the detention center side.
Wish this dumb barbed metal fence wasn't in the way, though. I thought it was all one big yard.
Yeah, no, like, don't ever ask her for a hug again, please, Eddie. Given how protective the warden seemed of her little bit of earth, I imagine it's to keep riffraff like us out. An Asian elephant named Azea, and one of the Berry Big Circus's many animals. She certainly seems very fond of petting humans, based on what we've seen. Well, most humans.
You can't just glare at her like that, Mr. Edgeworth. She'll think you're trying to show her who's boss.
Are you telling me she thinks I'm one of her kind?
No, just that she respects you, I guess.
How comforting.
What's up?
Who doesn't love a good circus performance, huh? A foray into the realm of fantasy. If the performance is a good one, it can certainly be entertaining, yes.
Man, I'm getting pumped just thinking about it.
A chance to escape reality, however brief, can often be a powerful tonic.
You got that right. Doesn't it just make you want to hug something?
Like the circus? Holding a show here, right in the shadow of the fence that keeps these guys in.
Guess that makes magic of the big top is enough to make these forget. Guess the magic of the big top is enough to make them forget that they're in the same boat as the animals.
The fence. I suppose I should examine it too. It is part of the facility after all.
Welp. He said whelp. Oh my gosh. Welp, we missed the show, but we've still got the stage and all of the other stuff to check out.
He's right. I should also look over the show set and equipment, just in case something useful turns up.
Chat over, huh?
You don't exactly give a guy a lot to work with, Miles.
Kid's really something, huh? Wish I still had a tenth of her starry-eyed outlook.
I suppose that's because her head seems to be up in the clouds.
Right? She's so above it all that no one dares to go against her. She doesn't even need to crack the whip with the animals. The eyes go from starry to steely, and suddenly it's sit, stay.
I can think of somebody who would very much enjoy cracking the whip.
You can, huh? Sounds like a real piece of work. Come on, Miles Areno, spill the beans.
Trust me, Fender, one crack of her whip and you'll be running for the courthouse doors.
I really hope she's in this game. She has to be. She was in the first investigations. I want to present some things to him that he wasn't around for, just in case. Heard the Bronxter was a bit of a chest fiend. Chest fiend, not chest fiend. Oh my gosh.
Indeed.
Perhaps, well, although he could have been a chest fiend, we don't know.
Indeed, perhaps we might have enjoyed a game. Oh, he's already said this before. Okay. Okay, he might not actually know anything. Alright. I think this guy's theme is the best song in the game so far. A wicker basket, or rather a cart, given the wheels.
Oh, smells like animals.
I suppose they must have been using it to move things around.
Hey, wouldn't it be fun to hop in and race it down a hill? Oh, you know what else would be fun? Racing down a hill of office chairs.
Where did any of that come from?
Hold on, I have to blow my nose, sorry. Alright, sorry.
Oh, power room. The store appears to be locked.
Want me to open it? Can't guarantee anything, but I'll certainly give it a try.
No, if we deem it necessary, we will simply ask for the key.
Spoil sport. That could have been my chance to shine.
You're free to shine somewhere else, but you'll not make an audience out of me.
I wonder if something has to do with, like, maybe someone was able to turn off the power and exit the fence or something. I'm not sure yet, but that might be something. What are you doing here? Okay, this guy has to be like a spy or something, like eavesdropping for someone or whatever. Cause like why else would he be here? This guy's just so creepy.
This must be the stage for the show.
Do you think people would be interested in a great thieving show?
I'm sure the police would be very eager to attend. If you're the head of the animal taming department, you must be Mr. Saint's boss.
So, like, his name is Simeon. Obviously as a reference of, like, his monkey-like, body movement and stuff. But, like, why did they call him Saint? Saint, the word saint has multiple meanings, and I'm trying to remember, like, what the significance of that could... I'm trying to think of what the significance of that could be. That's right, my dad founded the Big Berry Circus. But he passed away. He was murdered. I'm sorry to hear that. But we have a new ringmaster now, and he's made the circus bigger and better than ever. He's such a nice man, and he was a good friend of my dad's too. Mo! Wow, that's great, lucky you! I know, right? It was his idea to set up departments like animal taming, magic, and ventriloquy. Only animal taming and ventriloquy have more than one person right now. But the Very Big Circus is getting bigger and better day by day. Sounds like you guys are really going places.
They're getting on well. I'll leave them to it. Can you tell me about the show?
Oh, it was a wonderful thing. It even has a story. And not just any story, it's a love story. Isn't that dreamy?
Sounds like a regular riot. So who's the star of the show? Let me guess, you?
No, silly. That would be Isaiah. And she falls in love with none other than Regent the Tiger.
An elephant and a tiger.
It's a heartrending saga of forbidden interspecies romance.
Whoa, Nelly, I've heard of odd couples, but that takes the biscuit.
And that's not all. There's a love triangle too. It's so romantic. That sounds pretty incredible, huh, Mr. Edgeworth?
So the elephant is the heroine? I suppose there's a first time for everything. And, who's the third wheel?
Oh, that would be the big old meanie who tries to tear our star-crossed lovers apart. Oh, what animal do you think it is, Mr. Edgeworth?
Given that it's a circus, probably a lion?
I think a raven would be cool, like the Yadagarsu. Nope, it's a sneaky monkey. Money?
Money's a player? That's certainly lowered the stakes.
Oh, you mean money, right? I freaking love that picture, it's so great. Nope, again, the role of the monkey is played by Simeon. What? Money's far too small to play against Isaiah and Regent, silly.
Oh, poor guy.
Anyway, the evil villain tries to tear Isaiah and Regent apart. What will become of the fated twosome?
That's a terrible wording.
It's so exciting, isn't it? Wow, it sure is.
So Mr. Saint was more than just the little helper he claims to be.
But he was on the stage at the time, so that's an alibi right there. Poor Simeon. It'd be terrible if he couldn't perform with us anymore.
Can you tell me about how you set things up for the performance?
Oh, that's not really my area. Simeon took care of all the lifting and carrying. He's such a sweetie. He offered to do everything by telling me to concentrate on the show. I did see him doing something near that well, though.
Uh-oh. A well. I recall seeing one behind the stage. I should examine it in more detail.
You should have seen him, moving those huge cages around all by himself. He's a total hero. Yeah, sounds like something he would do.
Weeping all the while.
He was going back and forth between the yard here and some sort of workshop with all the equipment. The prison gave us special permission to use it for storage. But he was the only one who went down there, so I don't know much more than that.
The workshop must be the one where Knight's body was found. I guess this confirms that Mr. Saint was the only performer to have gone into Workshop A. But he was on stage, so how could he have been the one to actually do the murder?
Well, this sucks. All we're getting is information that works against us. You have to help Simeon, Mr. Edgeworth. We're all counting on you, Mr. Attorney. Just leave it to us. He may not look it, but Mr. Edgeworth knows how to get things done.
And what exactly is he may not look it supposed to mean?
There you are! Regina Cupcake! Oh, Warden the Guard! I've been simply dying to sit you down for a chat, you exquisite little thing.
She keeps appearing, like, at sus points. I'm willing to bet she's gonna be a suspect. I'm gonna look at the well, though, first. A simple, sturdily built well. I wonder if it was the work of the prisoners.
Somebody's left a bunch of tools lying around. There's a long piece of rope and a pretty heavy-looking weight.
Isn't this... This is probably where the prisoners get their, like, special requested items or something. like sent through a tunnel in the well or whatever.
Let's see, it weighs 30 pounds.
And it was moved recently, oh. Huh.
Oh, and there are some pulleys too.
Okay, can you stop touching everything in sight?
Oh, come on, it's not like I was gonna take anything.
What exactly were they being used for, I wonder? Can I not look at it closer? Oh, okay. I thought maybe I could examine. Cause like... Oh no, that's just the chalk on the ground. I thought for some reason it was moved. Why are you here, dude?
Ah, Mr. Attorney, sir. And how are you today, if you don't mind me asking? Today? We just talked to you early, Mr. Sahit.
Oh heavens, I do apologize.
Ever since I came to call the police home, to call this place home, I've been working on my interpersonal skills, you see.
In order to be as annoying as possible?
I'm currently helping out with the circus show's stage teardown and cleanup. A likely story. But if you have need of me, I'd do my utmost to help. I'm just chipping in and doing what I can, model prisoner that I am. Yes, my stay in this prison has seen me reborn. The Frank Sahit you see before you is a changed man.
A changed man who now targets the recently deceased?
No, you misunderstand! That was just a moment of madness! A moment of madness? You're a disgrace to all thieves everywhere.
You're right, of course. I can't deny it. I still have a long way to go. As a thief?
Anyway, as you can see, I have a shiny new bracelet now. So it's the straight and narrow for me. Like I say, I'm a model prisoner.
Not that a real model prisoner would need to keep telling me that.
I'm doing everything I can to prepare for my eventual return to society. Yeah, you even skipped the show to focus on your training, didn't you?
That's right. Only 2 inmates were absent. Sahit and Connus. Why didn't you tell us about Mr. Connus sooner?
Look, I don't think there's an inmate in this prison who'd talk about him if they didn't have to. He's, well, you could say he's the real one in charge around here.
Probably, yeah.
You didn't hear it from me, but, well, I guess it comes from being the fixer.
The fixer?
Yes, anything you need, he can get it for you.
Oh, him?
I thought it was another person that was doing it. But how does he get away with it?
I'm not sure, but he's the only one who does.
I heard he has a secret way of getting things into the facility. Does he use his dog to transport, like, items and things? Probably.
I imagine being the fixer affords Connus certain privileges.
Not that I concern myself with such things anymore, of course. I'm far more interested in perfecting my mud pack application technique.
And what are these mud packs exactly?
They're a special type of mud treatment, rich with minerals. It works wonder on their coats. I've been practicing on the animals here in the prison. I hope to treat them all eventually.
Speaking of mud, that reminds me of a certain piece of evidence.
Yeah, I should show him this glove and see. That's the rubber glove I dropped.
Would you care to explain why it's so dirty?
Oh, of course! That's mud from one of the pet treatments I've been practicing. I was giving one of the animals a mud pack right when the incident happened.
I see. Around what time would that have been?
Let's see, the show had already started, so... around 9 AM perhaps? The thing is, the more mud I applied, the more in the zone I got, and the darker the animal's fur became. There's no trance quite like the trance one enters when one slathers an animal with thick black mud.
I think the stress of prison might be getting to him.
Okay, that makes sense. Of course, it's all thanks to the warden that we have access to such wonderful distractions. I'm eternally grateful, truly I am. Okay, that's all I'm gonna get out of him right now, I believe.
Do you mind if I ask a little bit about this prison?
Oh, not at all.
This place is my pride and joy, my home.
She keeps saying home, why?
Sure, it was a prison when I first arrived, and it was awful, an utter disgrace.
Awful? I suppose you mean the prisoners were unruly.
I most certainly do not. They're angels, every one of them, and they always have been.
Oh, that pisses her off.
No, it was the ambience that was awful. I fretted, I brooded, and then it hit me. The animals. If anyone can brighten up the place, it was them.
Is this nice? It is nice seeing them around.
Isn't it just? And now look at my fabulous little family. Why, my darling Frankie is the very picture of rehabilitation.
I pretty much figured, yeah, like he keeps saying he's a model prisoner, he probably was the favorite.
Except when he's rifling through a dead man's pockets. We have so many success stories along the family, but darling Frankie really is a marvel. He's thrown himself into his vocational training and is always the first to volunteer for everything.
What, and your other model prisoners don't do that?
Oh, of course they do, my dear, of course. They're all such triers, such doers. It's just that Frankie, let's just say he knows what's good for him.
What exactly does she mean by that?
Anyway, he's a very good boy, so do try to be nice to him, won't you?
Or maybe he's being a model prisoner because she's threatening him? I don't know.
Loud, soaring music, great leaping animals! The Very Big Circus truly has it all! And everyone who comes here gets to see it once a month!
Really? In that case, let me see.
She'd better not be thinking of saying something to confess to. This monthly show, is it always performed by the Very Big Circus? But of course, sweetie! I'm Regina's biggest fan! That girl's my little princess, my superstar! She's so wonderfully talented, yes she is! Yes she is! Ew! She just kisses the fox on the mouth. And she's so adorable, so sweet! I could just gobble her right up!
Oh, okay. You're not lying when you say you're her biggest fan, huh?
Which is why I'm worried about her. So worried. It's all because of poor Simeon, you see. If he's found guilty, why, darling Regina will be devastated. So you simply must make sure that doesn't happen, Mr. Lawyer. Please, I'm begging you. If there's anything I can do to help you clear up this awful misunderstanding, you let me know. Regina, darling, you put on the most splendid show for us yet again. The stage, the stars, and you in particular, my princess. It was simply divine.
That's so nice of you. I hope that everyone else who watched it enjoyed too.
About that, dear, I'm afraid I have something awful to confess. There were some absences, you see. She must mean Connus and saw it. We were 3 members short. Unbelievable, I know. How will you ever forgive me? I'm sorry, but you're saying 3 inmates didn't attend the show? That's right, sweetie. I counted the seats myself. 1, 2, 3 no-shows. And I always make sure there are enough seats for everybody.
But Mr. Edgeworth, that's not right, is it?
Indeed, as far as we were aware. Mr. Connus and Mr. Sod were the only ones not present. This doesn't add up. Who was the 3rd missing prisoner, and what were they doing? It seems we need to investigate further. Oh, I was enjoying my chat with dear Regina too much. I almost forgot. I must feed the little one. Little one?
thank you, Henry. Henry. I tried to say Yenny and hydrate at the same time, and I said Henry for some reason. Just the camera panning just to a still alligator not moving. Alligator! You're looking as adorable as always, Allie, my sweetie. Aw, she's so pretty, and what a cute name. Yes, Allie the alligator, isn't she a darling? She's my favorite, aren't you? Yes, you are. I'm so jealous. Can I pet her? Of course, princess, of course. Boy, howdy, these two were made for one another. They look like they'll be busy for a while. Maybe we should, go back inside the prison and check the cells. Yes, let's. Perhaps we can find a clue there as to who the third missing prisoner might be. Sir! Mr. Edgeworth, sir! Whew, I finally caught up with you. Detective, you're not needed elsewhere? No, the judge and the kid aren't here yet. Oh, and I got your message. So you searched the victim's cell? Did you manage to turn anything up? We struck gold, sir. Well, blood anyway. It was right there on the floor. Only in tiny specks, though. But at least it's something. Yeah, it proves that the holding cell was the scene of the crime, right? Not quite. It proves the possibility, but it's not conclusive yet. Yeah, if it's only little specks, then probably not. I thought you'd say that, sir, which is why I ordered some follow-up work. I asked forensics to analyze the blood and see if it matches the victims. They're on it as we speak. Nice work, Gummy! You thought of everything! Detective, I must say I'm impressed. Did you hit your head or something? Gee, don't look so surprised, sir. I just hope things continue to go in our favor. That's good. Alrighty, so that's proof that the murder happened in the detention center. And for our next trick, we'll find out how that dog got over there. Don't worry, you can leave that one to me. Until the kid and his chaperone get here, we've got the whole prison to ourselves. Which is why I brought my secret weapons along. Secret weapons? That's right. Are these gonna be the 3 tools from the first game? I hope they are. That's right, a few tools of the trade that helped me bust more than a few cases wide open. Behold, 7. Oh, okay. Behold the 7 secret weapons of Dick Gumshoe. Ace Detective Extraordinaire. Oh yeah, I was reminded recently, was it the French or the German name for Dick Gumshoe? Is Dick Tective. His last name is Tective instead of Gumshoe. That's like the greatest name ever. Well, I don't know about you crazy cats, but I'm sold. Miles? Very well, Detective. We'll try using your secret weapons. You got it, sir. Let me run through the list. Secret weapon number 1. It's the same metal detector! My trusty old metal detector. If it's made of steel, silver, or scrap, this little guy right here will find it. We'll find it. So it detects metal. Very good, Detective. Next up, secret note. Yeah! Secret weapon number 2, Missile, everyone's favorite crime-fighting canine. He can track pretty much any scent you put in front of him, especially food. He sure is a lot cuter than Mr. Conus's dog. And now for secret weapon number 3. Where'd I put it? Aha! Am I one snapper short of a school, or is that a fishing rod?
Don't tell me we're going fishing for clues. No, I mean, I just happen to have it with me is all. I see. Well, onwards and upwards, detective. Let's see what else you have. That's all she wrote, sir.
Gummy, you're 4 secret weapons short of your so-called 7, and one of them was a fishing rod.
Sorry, but that's all for today, okay? I'll show you the rest next time. What do you think I call them secret? I can't just go sharing everything all at once, that's crazy! In that case, then I suppose the 3 you've deigned to reveal it to us will have to do for now. Alright, which one do you want to try, sir?
Let's try missile first.
You got it, sir! Hey, missile! Here, boy!
Aww. He really came!
So, what are we tracking? We're trying to find out how Mr. Connis's dog got to the holding cells in the first place. I suspect the same route was used to bring Knight's body back to the prison. So we give the pooch a sniff of the body?
And he'll find the route for us!
That's, I hate when they have dogs do that, but oh well, that's their job. Does anyone else smell something sweet? All I smell is the odor of blood. It's faint, sir, but it's there. Almost like cake, maybe? Why would the body smell of cake?
Maybe he had cake, I don't know.
Okay, Missile, get a nose full. Here we go! Follow the dog! That's the way to... He's headed... Nope, that's the wrong person. He's headed for maximum security!
Uh-oh, he's going in!
Then we'll just have to follow after him.
Now is he smelling the actual body or the sweet scent?
This is Connis's cell, though the man himself is absent, it seems. Is he meeting with someone in the visitor's room?
Do you think Missile's onto something?
Shh, looks like maybe he is.
Ooh.
Is there something here?
Let's get snooping, Mr. Edgeworth.
The cookies? Oh, tea and rice crackers. Mr. Connis clearly doesn't lack for comforts.
I can think of worse ways to spend my time in jail than drinking tea and playing chess. I thought this was maximum security, not maximum comfort. How come no one else gets this special treatment?
Complaining to me isn't going to help. Perhaps you could take it up with the man himself.
Yikes! No thanks.
Maybe because he's... an assassin? And people want to, like... you know... not disobey him too much, not get on his bad side. Mr. Connis's chess set, complete with his special dog piece.
That's not a chess set, that's a whole chess table with legs. Looks like it might be worth something too.
It's not inconceivable, some of them are. And this is quite a nice one.
I never would have... Again with that word, I never would have pegged Mr. Connis as a chess fan, though. What with the whole Eastern aesthetic he's going for? I thought he'd be more into Go.
Go, huh? Can you play?
I can play Go Fish.
Not the same thing, Kay. Not even close.
Look, Mr. Edgeworth! That chisel on the floor is a bit smaller than the other ones.
I'm no woodworker, but perhaps it's an all-purpose one that can be used in a pinch, regardless of the job.
An all-purpose pocket chisel! Makes sense. Always nice when your tools are useful and easy to carry.
Yeah, don't talk about pegging around me. Is that your opinion as a thief?
Nope! It's my opinion as a grave thief.
I walked into that one. Mr. Connis's chisels, every one of a potential murder weapon.
That reminds me of something. The furrows in your brow. When you frown, it's like somebody took a chisel to your forehead.
I have no idea what you mean.
See, they're so deep! You don't tell me you don't see it, Mr. Wood Carving Face.
Have you quite finished? Hmm? What's the matter, boy? Wait. Is this cake what you were after? Whoa! Down, boy! Stop that! No, you can't have it! Dogs can't eat chocolate, you know that! If you won't behave, I'll just have to eat it myself. Not bad. That's some real outside the chocolate box thinking there. Not sure everybody agrees, though. Uh-oh.
Gummy! I wanted some!
Daring of you both to assume the food in a prison is safe to eat. Well, daring or dumb. So anyway, it looks like it really was cake Missile was tracking. Talk about a waste of time. I suppose we got our just desserts.
Yeah.
But the little guy is definitely capable, right? Sure he is. That was just a blip. He'll follow the right scent this time, I promise. Seek, boy. Oh, I think he's onto something.
Oh.
Whatever it is, it's in there. Mr. Carcerato's cell. We need to take a look inside. Detective, call the guard. Yes, sir. Thank you, officer. A question before we begin. Is the prisoner, Mr. Carcerato, still in solitary? No, sir. He came back a little while ago. And he was here for the noon roll call? Guess he must be on work duty someplace. I see. Now if you would be so kind as to open his cell. Yes, sir.
Oh wow, is that him? When he was... No way, he has a poster of himself! And right next to it is... Looks like he never lost the habit of making weight for a fight.
Once a boxer, always a boxer, I suppose. I see he also has quite the collection of supplements.
Muscle protein, hustle protein, soul crushing protein? Yeah, that's a lot of protein.
Aki would be proud. Surely nobody trains like this for nothing.
Well, he is in jail for a reason. So how many minutes do you think this timer is for, Mr. Edgeworth?
Well, Mr. Carcerato is a boxer, so 3 minutes would be my assumption. Same as the length of a round in boxing.
Psst, thanks for playing, but the correct answer is kinda maybe about 2 minutes. Why? Because there's a crack in it, and a bit of its sand spill out.
Ugh, why does it hurt so much when she's right?
Bear bites? Oh, that's cute. Oh yeah, the drawing, that's cute.
It says Teddy in extremely poor handwriting. So this tire belongs to the bear? I wouldn't have thought it, but Mr. Carcerato and his Ursine partner seem really close.
Wow, this takes me back. Hey, Mr. Edgeworth, did you have a swing like this as a kid?
Not that I can recall, no.
So, what did you do for fun when you were a kid?
Chess, golf, flute practice.
Did you have any friends?
Why would you even think to ask that?
Of course, he had two friends.
I'm surprised that they give the prisoners heaters. Unusually kind or unusually careless.
I wonder if he uses it all year round.
To help him lose water weight, maybe.
Yeesh. I hope his furry friend can deal with the heat.
I'm sure they've learned to sweat things out together by now. This punching bag has certainly seen... some use.
What breed are you again, Missile? Sure it wasn't a boxer?
No way! No way indeed. Quickly, detective, move the sandbag aside. Yes, sir!
Ah.
Oh, could this be... Whoa there, wait! Missile!
I'm going in too!
Wait, stop! Sir, I'll go get her! Ooh, that's tight. Shouldn't have eaten that cake. He's gone. Well, I'm not going in there. Guess I'll just have to wait. Hello? Kay, are you alright?
You're not gonna believe this, but we're in the detention center!
The detention center?
That hole, it's a tunnel that leads right into Mr. Knight's cell!
What? Don't go anywhere, I'm on my way.
Under the bed? Ah, jeez. So then the person wearing the uniform could have been anyone. It could have been Carcerado, it could have been Knight, or just one of the guards. Hey there, Mr. Edgeworth. Guess you could say we made a breakthrough.
Quite. At least they came out unscathed, I think. Sir, the floorboards under the bed were torn up.
Oh god, what? How do you tear it up like that?
So that's how they did it. There's no doubt about it. This must be the route we've been looking for. The corridor connecting the detention center and the prison is locked down by heavy security doors. But with the help of this tunnel, it can be circumvented. It was a sweet scent that started this whole search. Could it be that the scent was in fact coming from Knight's body after all?
Huh.
Incidentally, Knight's body was covered in dirt. Dirt that might have come from being dragged through this tunnel. Kay, what was it like down there?
Well, it was pitch black, so I couldn't see a whole lot. Luckily, my camera has a flash, so I took some pictures.
Then let's see what you've captured. Spoons, cups, forks? Spoons, a fork? Guess these were for digging the tunnel. That aside, are those footprints? Paw prints, even from a dog perhaps? This is a vital piece of evidence. However, it begs something of a question. It does? Mr. Carcerado has certainly been making use of this tunnel. Which means... Detective, we need to find out where Mr. Carcerado is immediately. If my suspicion is correct. Huh? Oh, nuts!
He's a suspect.
The guards were alerted and they began searching for Mr. Carcerado right away. But after a thorough investigation of both the prison and the detention center, he was nowhere to be found.
Well, have the police been notified?
Yes, ma'am. We just finished liaising with them.
I don't know what that word means.
With them a moment ago. They've set up a cordon around the entire facility.
Good. The first blemish on a prison's spotless reputation is always the ugliest.
It won't happen again, ma'am. A rather different ward in the guard than the one we've seen so far.
Mr. Edgeworth, was it? I really can't thank you enough for finding that tunnel, darling. Sadly, it may have been too little too late.
Cooperating, okay. I'd say that's unlikely, Warden. After all, there's a security gate at the exit to the detention center. You're not suggesting he simply walked through it.
What's to say there was only one tunnel, sweetie,
I suppose that's true.
Well, whatever the case, this is no time to be standing around chit-chatting. Mr. Edgeworth, would you mind continuing with your investigation?
It would be my pleasure.
And you three can get back to your posts!
Yes, ma'am.
I like how they're all identical.
Detective, the results of the blood test just came back from the lab.
Thanks, pal.
Let's see what they have to tell us about the blood found in Knight's cell.
What does it say, Mr. Edgeworth?
They've identified the blood, and it's Knight's.
Good. Interesting.
Nice job, everybody! Teamwork makes the dream work, huh? We've got Knight's blood in his holding cell, a tunnel a dog clearly went through, and security footage showing Knight being attacked by the dog in his cell. Case closed. We have all the evidence we need. Let's see what Mr. Connors has to say for himself.
Connors? Oh, darlings, are you sure? Do be careful around him, won't you? He's as well connected on the outside as he is in here.
I suppose he would have to be. How else would the so-called fixer stay in his business?
The police have been trying to track down his accomplices for the longest time. Even I've had to lend them a hand myself, you know.
So that's what that was all about. You borrowed evidence from the police to help with your investigation, is that correct?
Why, yes, sweetie. Everything related to Connors is with me now.
He's having a little fun there.
Heaven knows how many times I've hauled the secretive scoundrel into my office to talk to him.
Yeah, no, Eddie hasn't really done very much. But I mean, to be fair, Edgeworth is the one that's more eager to figure this out than he is, so... A prison warden conducting investigations herself? That's irregular, to say the least.
Let your guard down and he'll devour you whole! Be careful, darlings, you have been warned!
Hoo-wee! And here I thought things couldn't get any spicier. Oh, there they are. Judge Gavel, I didn't expect to find you here.
We have been conducting inquiries, which, given that we are in charge of the investigation, is hardly strange. What is strange is that you are still here, Mr. Edgeworth. I gave you a warning, did I not? I told you that your badge was at risk, should our paths cross again, and yet here you are.
I'm sorry that you thought that I might be so easily discouraged, Your Honor. But I'm not about to let the truth slip from my grasp, no matter what you or the committee might say. I am here to present a certain someone with evidence that you yourselves should have uncovered.
You have more business with me, I take it, Mr. Edgeworth?
I do. I promised I would be back to prove that you were the killer, and here I am.
This should be amusing.
Very well.
Whenever you are ready.
Objection!
Not so fast! We have some truths of our own to share. First-rate deductions, in fact. Indeed. We are now more certain than ever that Simeon Saint was the murderer. And that only he could have moved Mr. Knight's body from his holding cell to the prison proper. We shall prove this to you beyond a shadow of a doubt. But first, a question. Are you quite determined to continue on this course, Mr. Edgeworth? Should you fail to rebut our deductions, there will be no going back. Your very career hangs in the balance.
What? You mean you'll take his badge if you don't like how this goes? That's intimidation!
Not at all. If anything, I am showing him mercy. This is not Mr. Edgeworth's case. It never was. And I am under no obligation to hear him out. If he is prepared to accept the potential ramifications of his actions, I will allow him one last chance. Well, are you truly willing to take the risk? To put your beloved badge on the line? I'll put anything on the line for you. Mr. Edgeworth!
Sir! I accept your terms. I am confident of my reasoning, and what's more, I am representing the firm of Edgeworth & Co., and I do not intend to besmirch its name. My duty will be done, and I will not be intimidated.
Very well. Let us see whether you are brave or simply reckless. By the power vested in me by the almighty goddess of justice, let this judgment commence! Eustace, if you will allow me. Fine by me. He's all yours, Gavel. Oh, damn. Zoom in of her eyes? God. You are aware of the incident involving Mr. Knight the day before yesterday, I assume? He assaulted an innocent guard and stole his keys. Later, in the middle of moving a large animal cage, Mr. Saint stopped by Mr. Knight's cell for a little visit. That's when Mr. Knight stole out of his cell using the keys he'd stolen. He slipped into the cage and there he hid as he was wheeled into one of the prison workshops.
It figures she was going to bring up Mr. Saint going to Knight's cell.
Yesterday, after you so kindly made us aware of the security's camera footage, we decided to take a look at it ourselves. Perhaps you would like to see what we found. This is a still from the footage we received.
Mr. Saint speaking with Knight at his cell.
Correct? You will also note that he has positioned the cage in such a way as to obscure the camera's view. It is this blind spot that Mr. Knight exploited in order to enter the cage undetected. A sound deduction, based on what could be observed, wouldn't you say?
A blind spot, which means that the camera wouldn't have been able to capture the moment Knight entered the cage if it did at all. So it's still possible that he didn't actually leave his cell at this point.
I don't get it. Why would Mr. Knight want to hide in the cage? There is really only one possibility. He intended to escape. A prison break? That's so cool! Mr. Carcerado, Mr. Knight, everyone's doing it! I have to step up my game!
Kay, now is really not the time. Mr. Carcerado's escape is no laughing matter.
It is my belief that Mr. Saint helped Mr. Knight with his escape attempt. That is to say, he was his accomplice. Wow, go Simeon!
That wasn't a compliment!
I understand that the cage was briefly taken to one of the workshops. I imagine that, had things gone to plan, Mr. Knight would have remained in the cage until after the show, and then removed from the premises along with the rest of the circus's equipment. Unfortunately for Mr. Knight, Mr. Saint had other ideas. He killed his friend in cold blood.
Judge Gavel's argument seems reasonable.
Hey, Sage! Hello! Oh, thank you for calling me gorgeous.
But there must be a fault in her logic somewhere, and I'm going to find it.
Hold it!
Your Honor, about this incident...
You have heard about it, of course. Surely any attorney worth his salt would have his sources.
Yes, I'm aware of it, of course. I simply wish to confer...
Then you are wasting both our time. Shall we continue?
Hold it!
Do you have any proof that Knight stole the keys?
I can think of no other reason for him to carry out such a brutal attack. Once the guard he assaulted regained consciousness, I am sure he will confirm our suspicions.
I wouldn't be so sure. Perhaps I should press her further on her reasoning? Sorry, but I believe there is a flaw in your reasoning. If Knight had the keys, there was nothing to stop him from leaving whenever he wanted. Why wait for Mr. Saint? There was no need, surely.
He chose the option he deemed most likely to succeed. He stole the keys and hid them somewhere. Then waited for an opportunity, for an opportune moment to present itself.
He hid the keys? I'm afraid you might have made an uncharacteristic oversight, Your Honor. But Knight wasn't hiding any keys. That has been proven already. And this is the piece of evidence that proves Knight didn't have the keys.
They weren't on him? When he died? Or they weren't in his cell? Let's see. Oh yeah, they have yet to be recovered.
Take that!
They haven't been found yet.
Since you know about the incident, I assume you must already know about this, but... After the assault, the guards searched both Knight and his cell, and no keys were found. And if the whereabouts of the keys cannot be proven, then neither can your theory!
I have considered the matter of the missing keys, and I do not think it's such an issue. I still believe he had them. After all, the guards are only stated that they were unable to locate them. And this is because they were clearly hidden inside the pocket chess set.
Knightley's chess set? The same set in which the murder weapon was also allegedly hidden?
Was it? I can't help but wonder about that. What? But you're the one who proposed it! Actually, if you recall, that was Eustace's assertion.
Ah, shifting the blame.
Ah, you are so fucking hot.
So the two of them aren't of one mind on this, I take it.
Allow me to restate the facts. Mr. Knight hid the keys he stole from the garden sources inside his chess set. When Mr. Saint came to see him, Mr. Knight used the keys to open his cell and climbed inside the cage. He was then moved from his holding cell to the workshop in the prison proper, all with the help of his friend and accomplice. Had things gone according to plan, he would have been taken out of the facility after the show. But they did not. Instead, his accomplice murdered him while the show was taking place in the yard. No, he was on stage.
But Mr. Saint was part of the performance. How would he even have had time to commit the murder?
Overruled.
How indeed? Allow me to explain. As you know, many stage performances follow a set narrative. Yesterday's show was one such example.
She's done her homework, I see.
The suspect played the role of the antagonist opposite the elephantine heroine of the show. In the latter part of the performance, the heroine's love prevails and the villain is defeated. This victory is depicted in a very unique manner, whereby the villain is sent flying from the stage by the heroine.
Oh god. He's sent flying by the elephant?
Isn't that dangerous? Having been ejected from the stage in this manner, the villain no longer appears on the performance. In other words, the suspect did not appear on stage for a period of approximately 15 minutes.
And you're saying the crime took place during that time?
Yes, I'm afraid so. After all, it's more than a sufficient window, wouldn't you say?
Objection!
Committing the crime and returning to the stage in that short 15-minute window is only possible, assuming that the murder took place in the prison proper. But in fact, Your Honor, the real scene of the crime was Knight's cell.
I seem to remember telling you that I would not accept that part of the security footage into evidence.
Objection!
And you won't have to. I have proof of a different kind.
Very well. Would you be so good as to present it? What proof do you have that the murder took place in the victim's holding cell?
Take that!
Well, this is all we have to go off of for so far. This appears to be a photograph of a floor. Almighty goddess of justice, grant me patience!
That floor you're so dismissive of, Your Honor, has traces of Knight's blood on it.
Traces, you say? Is this evidence reliable? After all, I don't believe you have access to the necessary forensics operatives.
Objection!
Let me just name a Gumshoe as the one who gave me the evidence. No, don't do that to him, please. I have my resources. A certain blunt instrument, you might say, but a reliable one.
The detective. How very unfortunate for him. Perhaps before you decided to circumvent the law, you might have considered that the committee's influence extends to the police. Oh no! Now Gummy's badge is on the line too!
Forgive me, Detective. I didn't mean to put you at risk as well.
I will enter the fact that Mr. Knight's blood was in the holding cell into evidence. However...
Objection!
Bad luck, idiots! You're really on edge now, Mr. Worthless.
Mr. Winner, I'd forgotten you were there. It was nice while it lasted.
I just butted in to tell you that your entire argument is one big inconsistency. You showed us camera footage of a dog killing Mr. Knight in his cell. Are you saying the mutt also wiped the blood up before it left the scene? Uh-oh. What other tricks can you do, huh? A blood-wiping dog? You're a joke!
You'd have wiped that blood up, wouldn't you, boy? Yes, Helmut. Yes, you would.
What?
That was one of the tricks I taught him before our work together was so rudely cut short. He's a very tidy boy, you know. Never misses a drop. It wouldn't do to leave any evidence after all. Saved by an assassin of all people. Jeez Louise, you could have just taught the little guy to shake hands. Oh, he does that marvelously too. Although the way I taught him to do it is somewhat unorthodox. First he bites down hard on the victim's hand, then...
No, I'm not listening! I see. Very well then, Mr. Edgeworth. It seems you may have gathered some evidence worth considering.
Your understanding is much appreciated.
Wait! I'm not done yet! I just thought of something else! Overruled.
Oh, shit. Oh boy, somebody's taking no prisoners.
Eustace, would you be so kind as to allow me?
All yours, Gavel. Well, do you accept the truth now? The crime took place in Knight's holding cell, and the assassin's dog was the killer.
Overruled!
My position is the same as it was yesterday. Until you can explain how the dog moved between the prison and the detention center, I cannot accept your theory into evidence.
Hold it!
I thought you might say that, which is why I'd like to show you something else. This piece of evidence shows how the dog could freely travel between the prison and the detention center.
Take that!
This is...
It's a secret passageway. It runs beneath the prison.
What? A secret passageway?
It was dug up by one Mr. Rocco Carcerado, escapee.
His first name is Rocco, too. That's perfect.
It leads from his prison cell to a certain holding cell in the detention center. Yes, the very one where the victim was being held.
Well, this is certainly a surprise. To think that it was beneath our feet this whole time.
Mr. Connus, you knew of this tunnel, didn't you? Because it's the same tunnel that was used to carry out the murder.
Overruled.
In the name of the goddess of justice, overruled! Mr. Edgeworth, you are out of line.
Hold it.
How so, Your Honor?
Overruled.
Evidence is everything, whether in a court of law, at the scene of an investigation. Isn't that your little catchphrase? Well, it just so happens that I have some evidence of my own. Bronco Knight's autopsy report.
His autopsy?
When did we get that?
How do you not know how you had it?
The police handed it to me only a short while ago. The findings are still preliminary, but it has something of value to tell us nonetheless. The goddess of law speaks to us through these pages, Mr. Edgeworth. Cause of death? Stab wound to the throat, and the weapon is said to be a sharp blade of some sort. It seems the victim was stabbed repeatedly in the same spot, resulting in an ugly wound. As such, the police have yet to identify the exact shape of the weapon, but its overall nature seems to be beyond question. It's a bladed metal instrument. In light of this evidence, do you truly wish to continue with your flight of fancy? Or will you now claim that the dog used a knife instead?
But that's impossible!
That will be all. This court is adjourned.
Objection.
But the tunnel! The paw prints!
What of them? Helmut is something of a wanderer. Perhaps he just happened across this tunnel one day. Although I couldn't say for certain, I myself cannot wander quite so freely.
That would be quite a coincidence. But I can't prove it's not the case either.
She sure knows how to keep a secret, huh?
Kinda wish she'd kick us in the teeth a little earlier than that.
I know, isn't she the best? Oh, I love her.
She was baiting me, waiting for the perfect moment to crush me with that autopsy report. And I fell for it, hook, line, and sinker.
You were lead attorney for the defense, correct, Mr. Fender? This is the interim autopsy report in question. I do apologize for the delay.
Yeah, no sweat. Thanks for hooking us up. He's pissed that she didn't bring it to him earlier. Yep, this all checks out. Yep.
Mr. Fender, a handshake is not necessary when receiving official court documents, you know. So please feel free to let go of my hand. It's not a holy relic after all.
Yes, it is, yes, it is, yes, it is. Was just trying to be friendly, Your Honor.
Had you lingered a moment longer, the goddess of justice would have spoken to you through my gavel.
Alright, I got it. Nice work, Gavel. Just like we planned.
I did only as you instructed, Eustace, but thank you.
This report came from the police. I have no choice to accept its legitimacy. But if the dog didn't kill Knight, then that takes Connus out of the running.
The goddess of justice speaks to me, Mr. Edgeworth, and she is merciful. She tells me that you might yet keep your badge if you will finally abandon this fruitless quest.
What's our move, sir? I think she really means it this time. What do you think, detective? My answer remains the same, Judge Gavel. I will see my duty done, and I will not be intimidated.
Even with how things stand, you still refuse to concede? This may very well be our last chance. Your badge hangs by a thread.
Then let it fall if it must. I have something far more important to protect as an associate attorney. My client.
She is annoying, but she's sexy, so it's okay. The Goddess of Justice is no doubt saddened by your refusal to accept yet another offer of mercy.
Attaboy, Miles. That's what I like to see. Looks like the defense never rests is really starting to mean something to you.
Yeah. You have a crackpot theory, but it's really out there. Don't say it. Just keep it to yourself for now, if that's okay.
Credit to your old man, though. He's the one who said it first. My father? In fact, I could swear I saw Gregory's spirit in you for a second there. You said that you've changed since your days in Von Karma's shadow. I didn't believe you at first, but I'm starting to. Thank you, Fender. Alright, kids. This is where the rubber really hits the road. Put your thinking caps on, it's make or break time. If it's true that Knight was offed by a bladed weapon, does our whole case really fall apart? A bladed weapon? Of course! There were 5 chisels in Connis's cell when we last looked. A former assassin certainly wouldn't struggle to commit murder with a tool like that. In which case, the weapon that killed Knight was...
Have you quite finished? It would be in our best interest to concede...
Evidence is everything. It may well be my little catchphrase, but it's also true. So the murder weapon was a sharp blade. Then where is it? The guards didn't find it.
Why can't you let this go? So what if they didn't find it? What are you driving at? Yeah, I have a feeling like he's not simply just letting Miles do the work for him. He's probably just listening in and figuring things out in his own head as things progress. Probably.
What if I were to tell you that I now know what the real murder weapon was? And it was right under our noses the whole time, indeed. It was Mr. Connis's chisel!
What?!
Overruled.
I would advise you to stop bombarding us with your irresponsible, half-baked theories, Mr. Edgeworth. You have repeatedly insisted that Mr. Knight was killed in a cell by a dog.
I simply go where the evidence takes me, both in the courtroom and the scene of a crime. If the murder weapon was in fact a chisel, then yes, the murderer could not have been the dog. But that begs the question of what exactly it was we saw in the security footage.
Oh yeah, the security footage! How do you explain that, Mr. Smarty Pants?
An excellent question. The footage shows...
Somebody attacking the dog? I don't think so. It looked more like something just jumped on him.
Mr. Connis's dog jumping at Mr. Knight. The dog attacked Mr. Knight, but he didn't kill the man.
He didn't?
No, Knight was merely knocked out. The dog didn't drag a corpse through the tunnel. He dragged an alive but unconscious Knight. The real killer was the dog's master.
Oh, I get it. By bringing Knight here, Mr. Connis could finish the job. And he could definitely use one of those chisels to do it.
Correct. You, Body Harma Connis, you're the one who could have done it.
Objection!
Hey, Mr. Edgeworth, you ever get this on your report card? Refuses to listen, must learn to respect others?
Are you asking me or confessing to what's on yours?
We already searched Mr. Connis' cell for from top to bottom, right, Gavel? Yes, we even inspected his chisels, all 4 of them. There wasn't a single speck of blood.
Hold it!
Why, thank you, Your Honor. You have just confirmed my theory.
I have? What exactly do you mean?
The last time we were here, there were 5 chisels, not 4.
Oh yeah, I remember counting them! Definitely 5.
And the one that's missing is... the small one. The one we thought might be a pocket chisel. Mr. Connus, where did you hide that chisel?
A pocket chisel? And what use might I have for such a thing, I'm rarely allowed to leave my cell.
In which case, you shouldn't have had the chance to dispose of the weapon. You just dug your own grave, Mr. Connus.
You seem to have an idea where this missing chisel might be, Mr. Edgeworth. Would you enlighten us?
For a man who can't leave his cell of his own volition, Connus could only have hidden the chisel here.
Is it as simple as, like, just his own? Let me try it.
Mr. Connus is still a prisoner despite the comfort he enjoys. He is rarely allowed out of his cell. He could have given the chisel to his dog to leave somewhere, but that would have been far from ideal. He would have no way of guaranteeing where it might end up.
The dog's mouth hasn't opened at all.
Intriguing. Do go on, Mr. Edgeworth. Furthermore, this room is the one place where a belated instrument wouldn't raise an eyebrow. 4 chisels, 5 chisels, who's counting? A fact he took full advantage of.
The old keep the incriminating evidence close routine. Classic.
Objection!
But I looked! I searched the whole cell myself, and there's just no way he could have hidden it.
Objection!
I'm certain that the murder weapon is here, and that the reason why no one has found it yet is because it was hidden in such an ingenious manner.
Do it enlighten us, Mr. Edgeworth. What was my ingenious plan?
Think, Miles, there must be a hiding spot he could make use of. Think about when you came here previously. What were you missing?
He's not chewing us out permanently, right? Let's get out of here, come on! Yeah, he's not opening his mouth now.
The dog. He hasn't made a sound today. When we were here before, he barked and growled repeatedly. Connus even encouraged him to do so. That must be it! I knew something was off! I can hardly believe it, but I think I know where he hid the murder weapon.
Giving up already? I expected more from you, Mr. Edgeworth.
Hold it!
As well you should, if you would give me a moment. For this piece of evidence shows where you hid the murder weapon.
Take that!
Your dog. He seems unusually quiet today.
Oh yeah, unlike last time, what? Mr. Connus, if you would be so kind as to open Helmut's mouth.
Oh, come now. He hasn't barked because he is a well-behaved boy. I had to order him to last time. Then order him again, this instant.
It's not like we're asking for the world, Mr. Connus. Or do you have something to hide?
If you insist. Come on, Helmut. Open up. Yep. And there you have it. A chisel that small.
Why does it keep doing that? I'm not pressing a button. Come on, game.
And there you have it. A chisel that small was easy enough for a dog of this size to...
What? A chisel in the dog? In the dog? Why is there a chisel in the dog?
I thought he'd been strangely quiet. I guess his brain has finally caught up.
Eustace? Why don't you be a good boy and call forensics? Tell them it's urgent. Can you call me a good girl, please? Okay.
Damn. Our findings are as follows. Traces of blood were detected on the chisel.
What?
Not such a half-baked theory after all, was it? Alright, so we're all on the same page here. This is our murder weapon, yeah? The forensic evidence cannot be ignored. We have no choice but to concede that this is most likely the case. Hold on, I'm gonna take a bite of a snack real quick. Thank you. Mr. Connus, in light of the discovery of the murder weapon, the court demands that you explain yourself. Oh, ah. God damn it. Ah, God. I have a problem with my teeth, so I wasn't careful enough with chewing, and it kind of was a little painful there. We found the route your dog took to the holding cells, and now we have the chisel. How do you propose to talk your way out of this one? You never fail to entertain, Mr. Edgeworth.
Why does he always laugh like that, even when it's not funny?
Poor Helmut. How could they suspect us, You leave me little choice. I shall simply have to share with you the truth. I did not kill anyone. I have grown tired of killing. Something's not right. Why is he so calm?
Very well, the court will hear Mr. Connus' testimony.
If you would be so kind. Gladly. Perhaps you might begin by explaining what you believe my motive to have been. I never knew this knight. I had no contact with him, no connection whatsoever.
Well, there's the contradiction there.
Given that this is the case, why would I possibly wish him dead? Ah, could it be you're suggesting that was my canine companion who had the motive instead? Helmut only bares his fangs when I tell him to. I am not so bloodthirsty that I would kill a man I did not know.
I mean, when he puts it that way.
An assassin who only kills his acquaintances? Not the soundest business model, I agree. I argue. My work required me to deal with strangers, of course, but murder for its own sake, that's not my style. So I need to prove a link between Knight and Connus. I should go over the evidence again and see what I can discover.
I know the answer already, I think. It's that they were correspondence partners.
Hold it!
I'm puzzled by this focus on motive. Aren't you an assassin? Assassin or not, Mr. Edgeworth, I don't spill blood for nothing. Neither in a professional nor in a private capacity. That's just how it's done, isn't it, boy? No, it's not. That's just not how it's done, sorry.
Hold
it! You didn't know who he was? That's quite unlike you, Mr. Connus. You overestimate me, Mr. Edgeworth. Perhaps you had a harder time putting me in there than I had realized, but I'm no master criminal. That said, you are no run-of-the-mill prisoner either. You're the fixer, correct? I find it highly unlikely that a man in such a position would have no knowledge of the new detainee at all. Then you have a rather inflated idea of my position. I have my connections, yes, but I am not all-knowing. And I knew nothing of Mr. Knight.
Hold it!
You're an assassin. Since when have you needed a motive? He's a strange man, isn't he, Helmut? Yes, yes he is. Is he a fool? A genius? It's hard to say.
Objection!
Drop the act, Mr. Connus, and answer the question! No, you will answer mine. Who am I, Mr. Edgeworth? I am the very same person you caught. An assassin. A murderer for hire. Were I one to kill without a rhyme or reason, I would still be free to recite sutras in peace out there.
Hold it!
Of course not, but your dog was trained to kill. What is this man talking about, Helmut? Why would he say such an awful thing about you? He's a silly man. That's what he is, yes? Then perhaps he killed the wrong person. That would explain the lack of motive. Do your precious police dogs attack people willy-nilly? Have some respect, Mr. Edgeworth. If you were going to accuse Helmut of something, at least show us some evidence to back up your claims. Ugh, I would if I had any.
Hold it!
Then you must have done so, didn't you? You ordered Knight's death. Oh, Mr. Edgeworth, you'll have to try harder than that. Have you forgotten what I just said? I did not know Mr. Knight. I did not even know that name. If you are going to insist otherwise, then the least you can do is show us some sort of proof. He must show us some proof, mustn't he, Helmut? Yes, yes, he must. Whether it was Connus or his dog that committed the killing, Knight wouldn't be dead if Connus himself hadn't wanted him to be. So my first order of business should be to prove that Connus and Knight knew each other. Yeah, so it's gonna be this one, I think. Never knew Knight, had no contact with him. But they were playing chess together.
Objection!
You're getting sloppy, Mr. Connus. You may have trained your dog to clean up your messes, but some things still require a human touch. We found this in the victim's room. It's the record of a game of correspondence chess. What's more, the game depicted matches the game laid out on your board. Ooh. What? The number of possible games has been calculated to be 10 to the power of 120, and that's on the low end.
Wait, so that's 10 times 10, 100 times 120 times over, right? 1,000. I give up. I mean, what do you even call a number that big?
A vanishingly unlikely coincidence, that's what. Now tell us why you killed Knight. Unless, that is, you would prefer to explain the coincidence. Well, they do say that truth is stranger than fiction. It is, as you say, a coincidence.
But that's just impossible! We just proved that!
A coincidence of a different kind, child. I never imagined my correspondent was the victim, you see. And yet here we are. Helmut is as surprised as I am. Aren't you, Helmut? But yes, yes. I suppose there's nothing for it but to finally tell the truth, boy? The other prisoners had all gone to the yard, you see. There was a show of some sort, I believe. Here I was, minding my own business, when it comes to Helmut, dragging a corpse of all things. I had quite the shock. Not least because the murder weapon was still in the poor fellow's neck. Of course, I was none too keen on becoming a suspect, so I had Helmut take the body to the workshop.
Damn, okay. He's just confessing that he at least moved the body.
Once there, he removed the murder weapon and brought it back to me, just as I had asked. Oh, okay, so yeah, so he dragged it by his mouth. And then, like, as he was letting go of his throat, he picked up the knife or the chisel into his mouth? The dog pulled out the murder weapon in the workshop? Indeed he did. Removing it here would have made an awful mess, after all.
You know something? That makes total sense. Remember what Mr. Sod said, Mr. Edgeworth?
That huge black dog
had sunken his terrible teeth into the victim's throat.
I see. So what Mr. Sod actually saw was Helmut removing the murder weapon then? Precisely. I can't say I wasn't a little disappointed that he was spotted, of course. Silly boy, it's not like you to slip up like that, is it now, hmm? And there you have it. That is all there is to tell. I did not kill the man. At most, I am responsible for the removal of the weapon. Now will that be all? Poor Helmut is growing restless.
Objection!
Sorry, but if you could entertain us for just a little longer, Mr. Conness. Fender? No offense, Paleo, but I don't think you've quite told us everything. I'm sure we'd like to know why you thought you needed to pull the chisel out in the first place. He's right. It makes sense that he would move the body to avoid suspicion, but Conness had no reason at all to recover the murder weapon. So, the mute one isn't as dumb as I thought. Please answer the question, Mr. Conness. It was because of the bell. The one attached to the chisel, and the one around Helmut's neck. Have a very distinctive design, if you will. There's only two of them? Of course, there was something of a trademark on yours, weren't there not? Was there not?
I don't get it. How does that even work?
Body harmless Conness. The blind butcher. His appearance was always announced by the sound of bells. The last sound his victims would ever hear. You flatter me. Though it's been some years since you last saw one of them, you remember them well. Your knife and its attached bell were one of the pieces of evidence seized in our case against you. Yes, it was but one of my bells. Yes, it was but one of my bells, only one of only two in existence. Just two? Two and only two, one for my knife, and one for my beloved Helmut. Exquisitely crafted, utterly unique.
Wait, then why was it attached to the chisel?
My ears are my guide, after all. And I must be able to use my tools precisely. Of course, as you said, the knife has long since been taken from me.
Okay.
When Helmut brought the body to my cell, I was rather surprised to hear a familiar sound. At first I was sure that my knife had been used to do the deed. But no, a chisel. An ordinary chisel. It's certainly no assassin's blade.
Yeah, that's really weird.
So then, if he's being honest, then it clearly wasn't him that did it. Nonetheless, the bell would have suggested my involvement. Compounding the matter is the fact that I am the only person in this prison permitted to use such tools.
Yeah, exactly. Oh, yeah.
It was clear that I would become the prime suspect. And so the chisel had to be removed and hidden.
Hold it!
You still claim that all you did was have the dog move the body? That you had nothing to do with the killing? How could I? I told you the chisel is not mine. You need not take my word, Mr. Edgeworth. Why not have it checked for fingerprints?
Eustace! Huh? Me? But I don't know how to check for prints.
Get forensics.
Oh, right, sure thing. We got him! Fingerprints! They're Mr. Knight's!
And Mr. Connis's?
Nope. Just Mr. Knight's. Oh, and forensics said there's no sign of any prints having been wiped off.
Only Knight's fingerprints? This isn't good.
Should I get them checked again?
Now do you see? I have never so much as touched that chisel. Helmut carried it in his mouth, that's all. Therefore, any prints must belong to whoever had it last. Ugh! So the murder weapon belonged to the victim? That's not helpful. As I said, I have not touched the chisel. Therefore, I cannot be the killer. Or do you wish to suggest otherwise? I've got nothing to counter with. But what could this mean? Is he not the killer after all? Is he actually telling the truth? No, he can't be.
I am sure this goes without saying, Mr. Edgeworth. But if you do not find a solution to your current predicament, and quickly, I will have little choice but to relieve you of your badge. Even my patience has a limit, and I will not tolerate you throwing this investigation into chaos. Am I clear?
You've done it now, sir. She's serious. I hate to admit it, but the fingerprints turned everything on its head. Without more evidence, I'm back to square one.
Wait, something doesn't add up. A few things, actually. What would Mr. Knight have needed a chisel for?
You can do a lot with a chisel, kid. Break out of prison, for one.
Alright, then how did he get it in there? There's no way the guards would let him bring a super sharp tool in with him, right, Mr. Edgeworth? Hey, Earth to Mr. Edgeworth! You can't stand there hemming and hawing just 'cause of a little setback. The important thing is finding the truth, you know. It doesn't matter how we get there. As long as we save Simeon in the end, we can't give up now or ever.
Yeah, what she said. I'll second that. You won me around with that, Kay. I'm half tempted to offer you a job for real. It's like I said, the defense never rests. Or rather, like your pop said. What do you think lies at the heart of those words, Miles? Any guesses? The heart of those words? It's like this. As defense attorneys, our client's fate rests on our shoulders. We're the only ones that they can turn to. Simeon's our client, and we're the only ones who can save him. So we can't rest, not while he's counting on us. I'm not about to turn my back on your old man's legacy. Are you?
Dang, like he really wants to believe in Miles.
I'm an associate with the defense now. No, I'm an associate with my father's firm. That's the role I have chosen. On that matter, and that means that if I fail to save my client, I have failed in my duties. I will honor my father's vision and save Simeon Saint. No matter what setbacks I face, I cannot admit defeat. If one path is blocked, I must simply find another.
There we go! That's the Miles Edgeworth I know. Now let's find that new path forward. We can start by trying to figure out how Mr. Knight brought that chisel into the prison.
Right. How would Knight have managed to bring a chisel in there?
Probably by having someone put it in there. In the chest case.
Take that!
Usually it wouldn't be possible to bring a metal object into this facility undetected.
Because of the security gates, right?
Correct. But we already know that checks at one of the gates haven't been entirely thorough as of late. Namely, the gate at the entrance to the detention center. Knight took advantage of this little oversight and had Mr. Saint bring him the chisel. hidden inside his pocket chess set.
That does answer one of our questions. And it suggests that the chisel was indeed Mr. Knight's and not Mr. Conness's.
However, we still have one rather pressing problem to address. That one of the security footage in which Knight is attacked by a dog. How does one explain it if Mr. Conness was not the culprit?
But then,
But then, how do you explain his prints not being on the murder weapon? This one's a real three-piper.
the court too finds itself wanting for a satisfactory explanation.
Wait, sir. I think it might be time to show you another one of my secret weapons. Introducing secret weapon number 4, Lil V. What sort of name is that, detective? I came up with it myself, sir. Anyway, you can use it to analyze the video footage.
An excellent idea. Perhaps then you might finally see that I am telling the truth.
Who knows if there's anything to be found, but it has to be worth a try. Alright, want me to talk you through how to use it, sir? Seeing as I'm not exactly familiar with video analysis techniques, yeah, sure, why not? If you could run me through its functions, detective, that would be most appreciated. Yes, sir. So basically, you just gotta do what you always do. Examine anything that catches your eye. And I can examine things with triangle, I see. Panel on the left and right, let you rewind or fast forward. Okay. Cool, alright. Let's do it. Let's take a closer look. Can still examine while zoomed in. Okay, good. The footage from Knight's holding cell. Other than the victim being attacked by that dog, I can't see what else it might show us.
It was too small to be the dog.
But suppose we're wrong. What could we be looking at instead? Could the person in the footage be someone other than Knight?
It could be. It could be anyone, really. It could be Carcerado in the uniform.
And if so, could whatever's attacking them be something else, too? I should keep both questions in mind while reviewing the footage. You never know what you're gonna see once you start looking at things up close. Check every detail, sir. You'll find something, I'm sure. Okay, let's see.
Oh, wait, okay. I see what it is, hold on. How do I zoom? Oh yeah, square, okay. So let's see. So whatever jumped at him, it wasn't black. So he's being attacked. And then he turns around. Sorry about the beeping, I'm just going like... Oh, wait, no, it was. What am I... Wait. Okay, hold on one sec. Is it because of how small it is? Yeah, that's not the black dog. That's... Carcerado's polar bear?
That's not a dog, it's a bear.
What? So the paw prints from the photo I took?
We're not canine, but ursine.
Is it your sign or ursine?
A bear, so could that mean...
Yeah.
Yes, I think it could. After all, who else do we know with such a pet? And if we were mistaken about the creature in the footage, it's not inconceivable that we were mistaken about the person in the footage too. Maybe there's something in there that we could prove it, sir. Something that shows it wasn't night? You're right. We can't see the person's face, which means a direct identification is out of the question. But perhaps there's something that can tell us who they are indirectly. Indirectly, like the mirror. Certainly worth a look. Yeah, let's look at the mirror now. Okay, so it's not the hat. Dang, okay. What else is... Hold on, 1 second. Oh, dang, I'm pressing the wrong button. I'm trying to zoom in, not present. This is a little tricky. Thank you for the stretch. Come on. Come on. Is there really nothing here? Well, no, because they said in the mirror, so... I'm... So that's not it? Why is it not it? I pointed at the hat already. Why does it not... Sorry about the beeping. I'm just trying to figure out what it's asking me for. I don't know what the answer is. What does it want me to point out? It told me to check the mirror, so that's what I'm looking at, but maybe it's not what I'm supposed to look at? Is it just the uniform? How is that not... I don't get it. I don't know what I'm supposed to look for. Because I already checked the bear. Alright, hold on. I'm gonna have to look this up again. Hold on. I hate having to do this, but I really have no clue what it's wanting from me. Are you serious? Again!
Second time I've looked something up and I've done the correct thing, but it just didn't register it. I clicked that, I swear I did. The figure is reflected in the mirror here too. Is that a hat? Say, doesn't that look like the hats the guards wear, sir? Oh jeez, is that what I think it is? Maybe it was just the wrong angle or something. Have there been any reports of one of the animals attacking a guard recently? Not that I've heard of. So this may not be a guard at all, but someone dressed as one.
Take that!
So no guards have reported being attacked by an animal as far as we know. But we did hear about a guard I'm getting real, like, folding screen vibes from this Justice for All. God, I hated that. But we did hear about a guard's spare uniform being stolen. Could the person in the security footage perhaps be someone disguised as a guard? I'm pretty sure it was Rocco that was just dressed as him. Someone attempting to escape without being noticed? A guard disguise? I guess it might work. Wait, weren't we just talking about someone? Yep. We were indeed someone who seems to have successfully made his escape. We had assumed it was night in the security footage. Well, it was his cell. That's hardly a crazy theory. Perhaps, but now that we know about the hole under the bed, it is no longer the only possibility. Whoever had access to the tunnel could very well be the one caught on camera. And who was that, Mr. Edgeworth? Would you care to tell the court who you believe this person to be? Yeah, Rocco.
Take that!
I believe I know who our guard in disguise is. It is none other than Rocco Carcerado, the prisoner who recently escaped from this facility. I'm confident it's him because he was assigned a polar bear cub as his companion.
But the bear in that video was all black.
Indeed. And we have evidence that explains why.
Oh, he was having like a bath or something, like a mud pack thing, cleaning?
Recall, if you will, Mr. Sod's testimony.
The mud from a pet treatment, yeah.
While the circus performance was underway, he was giving one of the animals a mud pack treatment.
And that animal could have been...
Indeed, our polar bear.
Overruled!
Mr. Edgeworth, your latest assertion simply introduces yet another contradiction.
Objection!
I didn't press a button! Game, why do you keep doing this? The footage from the security camera...
I fully understand, Your Honor, and your doubts are entirely justified. Mr. Sod mentioned applying the mud pack while the circus performance was underway. And this does indeed introduce a new contradiction concerning the security footage.
It does?
Yes, let's put it this way. When you expect the footage to have been recorded, Kay?
If it was taken right after he applied the mud pack treatment, it should have been around 9 AM.
In which case, something isn't right about the footage.
Really? And what's that?
Oh god, Oh, the fact that he's just there?
Take that!
Someone shouldn't be there, yeah.
Overruled!
Oh no, it's asking for the time. Okay, hold on.
Take that!
Mr. Sod said he he administered the treatment at around 9. In which case, the security footage should also show the time of around 9. However, the timestamp says 6:42 AM. On the day of the murder, the prisoners all went out to the yard to watch the circus. All except 3. Mr. Connus, who remained in his cell in maximum security, Mr. Sod, who was administering a mud pack treatment in the workshop, and Rocco Carcerado, who had been awaiting that precise moment to put his escape plan into action. I believe he entrusted the bear to Mr. Sod before entering the tunnel.
Oh, it's so cute though.
And the bear then slipped out of Mr. Sod's grasp to run after its human. Mr. Sod would have then left the workshop to pursue the bear, at which point he saw Mr. Conus's dog retrieving the murder weapon from Mr. Knight's body. It all fits perfectly, except for the security footage, which should have been recorded for around 9. However, the timestamp is 3 hours off.
But why would the timestamp be wrong?
Detective, I would like you to have the security camera examined right away, please. It was probably tampered with to show a different time. I'm back, sir. I just talked to the guards and... Seems like the time code can slip on these cameras if they lose power. What? They're pretty old, sir. Guess the clock stops when the power's off. Which would mean the power was off for approximately 3 hours at some point. The power got shut off. That's not all, sir. You remember how Knight denied stealing the keys? No one believed him, considering, well, you know, he seemed kinda like the only suspect. Turns out that wasn't all he said. He also said he was knocked out cold just like the other guy. Which may not necessarily have been a lie.
Darlings, there you are!
Again, she pops up when something's sus.
How goes the investigation? Is there anything I can do to help things along?
Actually, there might be something we can do for you, Warden Lagarde. The escapee, Mr. Carcerado, I believe may still be on the premises. He is disguised as a guard. Here's the proof, should you need it. We're reasonably certain that the person captured on this tape is our man. And if I'm correct, he might even be here in this room with us now. Oh shit.
Hey, Mr. Carcerado would have been wearing a bracelet, right?
Yes, a bracelet that could easily be hidden under the sleeves of his stolen uniform. Furthermore, the doors out of the prison proper don't have those sensors that detect the bracelets installed. So if he avoided doors with sensors, he could simply wait for an opportunity to finally make his escape.
Well, yes, I suppose he could. He'd just have to avoid the workshops and the cells, and... Oh my.
He's one of you, isn't he? He's right here now!
Look! Look, it's Teddy!
There he is. Hey, paws off! Get your mitts off me, you big palook! Thank you, Teddy. Very kind of you to confirm our suspicions. Dang it, kid! If it wasn't for you, I'd What a thing it is to be loved, huh, Mr. Carcerado? I'm almost envious. Guards, apprehend this man! A moment, if you will. I have some questions for our would-be escapee. If we are to learn the truth, I will need to speak with him. With your permission, of course. I can hardly say no now, can I? Well, come on then, hit me with your best shot. Mr. Carcerado's escape route led directly into Knight's cell. So it's highly possible he has something to offer. Tell me what you were doing on the day Mr. Knight's body was discovered. Oh my god, this case is so long, jeez. So it was you guys, huh? You're the one who found my secret getaway tunnel? You know how long it took me to dig that friggin' thing? I had me a guard's uniform, a hole dug, and a plan in place, so I went for it on the day you found the guy. But then this little guy just had to come right after me. The sack of fur was covered in mud, too. Had to go back to our cell. I would have gotten away with it if somebody hadn't off tonight and brought you bums down here. You claim to have dug that tunnel just now. How exactly did you do it?
How? Used everything I could get my hands on, see? Hammers, spoons, you name it. Spent every dime I had on this cockamamie fixer. And what do I got to show for it now, huh? Do not be disheartened, friend. Tomorrow is another day.
There's an outside chance Mr. Carcerado and Knight met face to face, just before Knight's death. I should see what other details I can extract from him.
Hold it!
Shut up! Who you telling to hold it? You don't know nothing! You don't know what I had to do!
Oh, that's actually kind of annoying me, really. No other game, so far, no other game in this series has made it so that, like, someone interrupting someone has, like, skipped the previous person's text entirely. So that's actually kind of annoying me, because I'm not even pressing a button for that to happen. I wonder if it's like a bug or something, maybe, because of the higher frame rate. Possibly, I don't know.
How to come crawling into the fixer monk. How to grovel and kowtow day after day after day. How you gonna give me back the hours, huh? The days, the months?
I can't give a word of edgewise.
You should have never stuck your noses in my tunnel, never.
It's for the cutoff effect, but like, still, no other game in the series has done it like that. Like, every time before, when someone is cut off like that, the cutoff effect, it would wait for you to press the button to progress the text before the interruption, you know? Like, so it's really weird. I'm not used to it.
Hold it!
So the tunnel was all your work?
Every inch. You see anybody else in my cell when you was there,
That's quite an effort, even for an athlete.
Yeah, now that I think of it, that is an insane amount of digging for one guy. Yeah, well, you don't even know the half of it, kid. But it ain't like I had a choice. Trust nobody and don't get caught. Them's the rule of cons gotta live by.
Huh. You know, the rules of being a great thief are pretty similar. Okay, I'd rather you didn't start sympathizing with the suspect.
I was just joking, Mr. Edgeworth. It ain't no stinking joke to me. You punks owe me.
Hold it!
The uniform? Was that from the fixer too?
Uh-huh, sure was. Heard he had something on one of the guards. Had the guy swipe it from a pal's locker.
And were you wearing it when you were crawling through the tunnel?
Nope. Would've got dirt on it. Had to hold on to it till I got to the holding cell. But once I was out of there and I'd all dressed up, opening the cell door should have been a piece of cake. Here we go, I thinks. Freedom beckons. And then the furball here jumps at me.
Which would be the moment captured on camera. I'd be grateful if you could add that to your testimony.
Hold it!
Opening the cell door should have been a piece of cake, you say?
Sure, anything seems easy after dragging yourself through a hole in the ground.
And you were familiar with the layout of the detention center, even though you live in the prison?
Why wouldn't I be? It ain't like I'd never been there before.
If he's familiar with the detention center, then he'd surely be aware that unlike the doors in the main prison, the holding cell doors are locked with actual keys.
Objection!
You claim that leaving the holding cell would have been a piece of cake, as you put it.
Yeah, you got a problem with that? Cause we can make it a problem if you catch my drift.
Even once you had reached Knight's cell, you still had another door to contend with. How exactly did you plan on opening it? Mr. Carcerado, I posit that leaving the cell would have been a piece of cake only because you had the key. Oh, I don't got no stinking key. I didn't need one. It was a piece of cake because the door was open. I walked right out.
Objection!
Yes, I suppose Knight's cell was vacant by that point. There would have been no reason to lock it. And it was indeed unlocked when I went to examine it myself. So perhaps, when you'd finally succeeded today, it truly was unlocked because it was after the murder. But you had attempted to escape previously.
Yeah, the security footage shows when you tried and failed because Teddy caught you.
Which was during the circus performance before the body was discovered. The holding cell was still locked at the time, because no one knew that Knight had been killed yet. Therefore, you must have had the keys to the cell on you. Without it, your escape would not have been possible.
Are you saying? Could he really have?
I believe he could, yes. The thief of the keys was, in fact, perpetrated by none other than Mr. Carcerado. He is the one who attacked the guard.
Oh jeez, like just right behind him?
But not just the guard, Knight too. All to gain possession of the guard's keys. It wasn't me, you lousy bum. I didn't even know this Knight guy.
Objection!
After you stole the keys, you went back to your cell to avoid suspicion. And then you waited for the perfect moment to escape. A moment when the prison would be also deserted. Almost deserted. The moment of the show just before the discovery of the body. Unluckily for you, that particular attempt was thwarted by your furry friend. Says who, huh? You got proof, genius? This ain't your win yet, nuh-uh. Knight knocked out that guard out for the count, and everyone knows it.
Objection!
Don't play games with me. Knight was as much a victim as the guard in this case. As a matter of fact, I have proof that Knight had been attacked in his cell. Proof that Knight... The blood.
Take that!
We found traces of Knight's blood on the cleanly wiped floor of his cell. What could possibly explain such a thing other than him having been attacked? And it was you who attacked him! You ambushed the both of them and stole the keys!
I love his animations.
Why, Ayada? What's with you, huh? That newspaper wiped that blood up good! Ain't no way you should have found it!
Okay, but why did you think you had to wipe it up anyway?
If they checked Knight's and the guard's hands, they would have seen that those two never came to blows. But that blood give up the whole game. Ain't no way they don't figure there was a third man in the ring. Plus, once they started sniffing around on the floor, then it found the tunnel in a heartbeat. So you wiped up the blood to buy yourself a little more time? So you could wait for a better opportunity? Sadly, the opportunity you sought wasn't good enough to get you clear of the prison, it seems. Now hand over the keys! Right in the kiss.
That's awesome, oh my gosh. But that doesn't necessarily mean he killed him.
Gah. KO'd by a lousy stinking bum. Fine, you want keys? Here. I hope you choke on them.
Overruled.
Wait a moment. If Mr. Carcerado here had the keys...
Indeed, Your Honor. Your theory relies on Knight having used the keys he allegedly stole to escape his cell. That was the only way he would have been able to enter Mr. Saint's cage and move to the workshop. Unfortunately for you, we now know that the theory cannot possibly be true.
No!
Guess this changes things up a bit, yeah? Now, the only person who could have moved Knight's body is the one person who knew about that tunnel. No! You gotta be frickin'... Mr. Carcerado, you're under arrest! Come quietly now, pal! Wait, you got the wrong guy. I didn't do nothing. Alright, fine, I knocked those two chumps out, and I stole the keys. But after that, I went right back to my cell and waited for a moment. Next time I went to Knight's cell, there was nobody around. And I mean nobody. Plus, his body was found in the workshop. You think I just magicked my way in there for something? I couldn't even have gotten out of my cell. Indeed, you only had the key to Knight's cell. You couldn't have left your own cell back in the prison. But Mr. Connis's dog could. What? It was not you, but Helmut who moved the body from your cell to the workshop. I get it now. You're saying he wasn't the only con in this conspiracy. Indeed, one can easily imagine that Mr. Carcerado and Mr. Connis might have worked together. Mr. Carcerado could have killed Knight and dragged him back to his cell. And then Mr. Connis's dog took him from there to the workshop. There are no restrictions on the animal's movements within the prison. Moments before the detention center and the prison proper, however, movement between the detention center and the prison proper, however, is tightly controlled. There was only one possible route, and only you could have taken advantage of it, Mr. Carcerado. How can you be so sure, huh? Maybe there's more of them and you just don't know. Something tells me that digging even a single tunnel was arduous enough. You got that right? You try scraping more than one hole in the dirt with a spoon? Lucky for me, I didn't even have to dig the whole way. Somebody already did a bunch of the work for me. What? You didn't dig the entire tunnel yourself? Nope. Found it when they put me in that cell. Ran all the way from there to the well in the yard already. I knew it! Even looked down the well to check it from there. It was the same tunnel, alright. I just made good on what somebody else already started. Then what was the original tunnel for? Who knows? You're the one with the answers, pal. Maybe somebody else tried to break out.
Oh, or maybe the animals dug it. Like, to get water from the well or something?
I've heard of more plausible scenarios than that in B-grade movies, Kay. Well's dry, kid. Ain't no water to be had down there. Though, come to think of it. A smell. Yeah. Always smelled kinda nice down there. Nice? Gee, I don't know. Smelled sorta like dessert, I guess? A sweet scent? That sounds very familiar.
Take that!
The body. Detective Gumshoe noticed a sweet smell when we were examining Knight's body. With the help of a police dog, we followed the scent of the body and traced its route back through the prison. And that, Mr. Carcerado, was how we found your tunnel. Could that same sweet scent be what you noticed coming from the well?
Very clever, Mr. Edgeworth. You mean to suggest that this is evidence of the body having been moved through the tunnel?
I do. Furthermore, Mr. Carcerado, you were the only person who could have done it. Nobody else had access.
You have our thanks, Mr. Carcerado, truly. Finally. Finally, the truth comes into view. Now unburden yourself. It is time. Confess your role in this tragic incident.
What? You ain't pinning this on me! I'm glad to see that you are finally in agreement. And we are finally in agreement.
Oh, if only we were, Mr. Edgeworth. Mr. Carcerado may have been an accomplice, but not Mr. Connis. No, he was working with Mr. Knight.
Hold it!
Come on, really?
What do you mean?
I do not believe that he moved Mr. Knight's body. Instead, I believe that he lent Mr. Knight the use of the keys he stole. You gotta be kidding me! Granted, it seems likely that he attacked Mr. Knight. But that doesn't necessarily mean that Mr. Knight was knocked unconscious as a result. And what if he wasn't? What if he and Mr. Carcerado had reached a certain agreement?
What kind of agreement exactly?
Mr. Knight was plotting an escape for which he required a means of leaving his cell. And here was that precise means, in the form of a keys Mr. Carcerado had just stolen from the guard. Mr. Carcerado himself would need to pass through Mr. Knight's cell in order to effect his own escape. Mr. Knight needed only to shout and alert the guards, and Mr. Carcerado's plans would be ruined. And so the two struck a deal.
Lady, the only striking I do is with my fists.
My, still you deny it?
So, we're agreeing that we still disagree?
Mr. Knight and Mr. Carcerado unlock his cell so that when Mr. Saint arrived, he could escape into the cage. Mr. Saint was then able to move him into the prison proper just as planned. Aha! And then he took Mr. Knight into the workshop and did the dirty deed.
Objection!
Were neither of you listening? The scent on Knight's body proves that it was taken through the tunnel. It was moved from the cell to the...
Perhaps if you would let me finish, Mr. Edgeworth. I am not denying that Mr. Knight's body was moved through the tunnel.
Then what are you driving at?
Is this a trick question? As you say, Mr. Edgeworth, the sweet scent shows the route the body took. However, it did not enter the tunnel from Mr. Knight's cell. Huh? Then how did it get down there? There was another possibility, one you seem to have overlooked. The well in the yard. Could a body not have entered the tunnel from there? The well in the yard? Oh yeah, that thing! Mr. Saint did not take the cage to the workshop, he took it outside. There he killed Mr. Knight and threw his body down the well.
That's possible, but probably not actually what happened.
Mr. Connis's dog then dragged Mr. Knight's body here to his owner's cell from the bottom of the well. On that note, I would ask you to recall something. What was happening in the yard at the approximate time of the body's discovery? The circus show, right? Regina and Simeon were performing for everyone. Wait, Simeon! Ah, indeed. And so you see how it must have also been him who was disposed of the body.
Judge Gavelle is a truly formidable opponent. She so effortlessly adjusted her theory to fit the facts.
I propose that Mr. Knight was taken to the yard, not the workshop. And as we have established, Mr. Saint was off stage for 15 minutes. Ample time to throw the body down the well, I am sure you will agree.
Objection!
Not really. Your deduction is impressive, Your Honor. However, even supposing that Knight's body was indeed thrown down the well, you cannot conclusively say that it was during the show. It could have happened at a different time.
Overruled!
My sympathies, Mr. Edgeworth, but it simply could not have.
What?
Mr. Carcerado was using the tunnel at around the time the show began. Mr. Carcerado, did you happen to trip over a corpse while you were down there?
No, place was clean. Ugh.
If the body had been at the well before the show began, Mr. Carcerado would have seen it. But he also would have seen it if it was during the show too. Which makes it somewhat difficult to support your theory. Furthermore, Mr. Knight's body was discovered in the workshop after the show. In summary, the body must have been thrown down the well and moved to the workshop at some point during the show. Tell me, who else but Mr. Saint? Who else could have done it but Mr. Saint? What do we do, Mr. Edgeworth?
If the body did indeed enter the tunnel from the well, things don't look good for Mr. Saint. Still. Your Honor, your theory is still just that, a theory. And I posit and I posit that you lack the evidence to back it up.
I concede that for a moment. I do not.
May I suggest that we investigate the yard again?
Very well. May the goddess of justice go with you. Jeez, we're still nowhere close to being done with this.
Now then to the yard. Perhaps we can finally put this case to rest. What's that sound?
Yeah, is there a fire?
Did somebody else escape? Should we maybe skip town too?
Darlings, please. There was nothing to be alarmed about. By which I mean, that's not an alarm, it's the dinner bell. Although I suppose it is rather alarming if you aren't used to it. It certainly scared the heck out of me. I'm so sorry, Sweet Pea. I hope you can forgive us. All right, you two, back to your posts. Chop chop. And as for you, Rocco Carcerado, it's time you went back to your room.
Yeah, fine, I get the picture. Come on, Teddy, we're out of here. Warden Lagarde, we'd like to take one more look around the yard now.
Oh, darlings, don't you have homes of your own to go to?
She's trying to cut us off. She knows something.
Visiting hours are over, I'm afraid. Tomorrow,
No, it's imperative that we investigate it right away.
I think we've had quite enough excitement for one day, don't you? Murderers, escapees, so eventful. It's time our guest went home to Betty Buys, isn't it? Yes, it is. Come on now, darlings, don't make me bore you with all that I am the warden, this is an order nonsense. Warden Lagarde is right. Her word is law here, and we must respect her wishes. Mr. Edgeworth, your investigation of the yard will have to wait until tomorrow. You may keep your badge for now. The matter of your standing can wait. Good. I beg you all good day. I bid you all good day. Oh, you're so beautiful. What are you waiting for, kittykins? Off you go!
Fine, at least there is a tomorrow for me. Judge Gavel believes that Knight's body was dropped down the well, and then taken through Mr. Carcerado's cell to the workshop. But is it truly the case? Do the facts really support her theory? She also seems to believe Mr. Saint had to be the one to move the body. But was he really the only one with the opportunity to do so?
I'll wait for the ad to play. If there's another cutoff here, or I mean, whatever happens next, if there is another cutoff, like save point, then we will finish this case tomorrow. I can't go any longer than this. Come on, Mr. Edgeworth, tomorrow's another day. We'll figure out a way to save Simeon. I know we will.
Yes, we will. I will prove that Mr. Saint is innocent, beyond a shadow of a doubt.
Ah, there, right there, there it is. Okay. Woo! Jeez, this is... I don't think there's ever been another second case in one of these games that's been this long.